All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Cleveland Moto Podcast. We are at episode number 325. Look at the board. Yeah, we've been pre-gaming, so you're not going to get the audio sounds of beers being released from cafeteria or,
hold on.
Kromke's case.
I'll work on it. Hey.
There you go. Nicely done.
Nice out.
So it is, we just experienced our third winter. Third winter. Yep. So we had third winter, 2 days in a row of snow. So all the people that bought out their cool cars and their cool motorcycles, you have it is official. The wharf rat saw his shadow, so you get 3 more weeks of salt.
Well, and let's make sure people understand that little than 4 days ago, we were all riding motorcycles.
It's 70 degrees.
Right,
exactly. And it's not joking. On Sunday, we were out playing with the dirt bikes. So on Sunday, we were out having a great time, T-shirts and shit, rocking mini dirt bikes and bruising our assholes and all that stuff. I did discover in our fucking Merritt came out with us, which is great. So Dr. Waters came out and grabbed one of the dirt bikes, and we've got 7 of these bikes, so it kind of turns into like grab a bike. Just get one. They're all the same anyway. And Merritt grabbed Oscar's bike, and so she got Oscar's bike, and she's ripping it around. But it's true. We did figure out that the more forward you sit on the seat, the more your ball, like the closer your nuts get to the gas cap, the less your butt hurts. Ah. But on the jump, I still cannot force myself when I hit the jump to not go back, like to just self-preservation. I don't want to ride the front wheel, on a landing. And so sure as shit, every time I hit that landing, and I hit that landing probably, I figured conservatively 3,600 times during our outing. And what I noticed is my sessions, my opening session was 10 laps. So I did 10 laps, and I was like, this is great. A couple of 3 laps to warm up, and then really in the groove and just hitting it. And then we took a timeout. We had a cigarette. We had some beers. It was a good time. And then I went out and had another session. So I get another session and just went out and ripped and had a blast with that. And then again, about 7 to 10 laps, no problem. And that's when my body starts going, my God, that's an energetic quarter mile. Like there's a lot of shit going on in that quarter mile. And on my bike, I don't ever not give it full throttle. It's just always at full throttle. And then it's just a question of what gear I'm in, which is usually second or third. Second or third. There's really nowhere that I've been able to find fourth that I've been like, I need fourth in this condition. It's not. Third is all you need. And frankly, if you approach the ramp and you're in third gear, you're gonna do a sleepy. And that means you're gonna overcook it and you're gonna end up in the rose bushes.
Yeah. And they suck. They hurt.
It is God's concertina wire. That when you went into that, that look on your face was like, I hurt everywhere.
Yeah, no, that was like, so the MX pants that I bought to protect myself from situations like that, protected it from the branches, but let all the prickers go through.
Oh no!
So yeah, your pants didn't rip or anything like that. It was great, but your skin
just got stung.
Yeah. You had looked like you were like a monk flagellating yourself. Blood was just coming. You had mystery stigmata going from all over your fucking body.
And honestly, like I think my butthole just recovered from the seat. So like after weeks of thing, like it was like you have to pat. There's no.
Yeah.
We have a bidet at the house for that reason. The Toto is the mission statement on that. So the Monday after our outing, this Monday, I had to deliver 3-4 motorcycles as far as like Dayton and Cincinnati, so and Akron and everything else. So I was in the truck for I figured about 11 to 12 hours in a Ford F-150 with the cheapest Ford F-150 seat. My Ford F-150 has no options.
Did National Geographic try to photograph you as a baboon?
It was one of those things. Like every time I got out of the truck, you sit in the truck for 3 hours while you're getting to the destination. You get out of the truck, and your whole body's like, "Fuck!" Oh,
that's what I was gonna say. That's my biggest thing. I'm sitting down. I'm okay when you're just relaxing, but then when you get out of the vehicle and you hit the ground, and you're like, oh my God.
Man, I felt like shit. And I'm unloading big cruiser bikes and stuff out of the back of my truck on a ramp and stuff. And I was like, God, I feel miserable. And then I got home, and we have this thing called a Hyper Ice, which is one of those impact massagers.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's it's the one. I mean,
like a Tim Tam.
Like a Tim Tam. Yeah, it's these things that just, it's basically just a jigsaw with a head on it. And people are like, oh, it sounds like a sex toy. This is absolutely not a sex toy. Like, if you've graduated to this point where this is a sex toy, all of your nether bits have been broken a long time ago.
Well, technically, everything could be a sex toy if you're brave enough.
If you're brave enough, yeah. And this would be like, you'd have to be in the industry a long time
to be able to pull that off.
Like, I'm going to use this as a sense of joy.
Well, apparently there was a video going around of a lady pleasuring herself with a steak knife, like a knife. And then they said that she was in the industry for 25 years and she has built up calluses to handle L steak knife doing
no dice, man. So back to the hyper ice. So the hyper ice is all about like when you have sore muscles and stuff, you just run this thing and it just tenderizes it, right? And it's like, it's so much better than icing something. It works almost instantly, but it touches all of your pain spots in the process of doing it. Like, you're like, I wonder where I should use this. You've never used one. If you think, how am I going to know where I should apply this? You've obviously never used one because you move it along your body until you literally can't stand up. And when you hit that part of your body that needs it, your knees buckle. Mm-hmm. You fall down and the cat starts licking your face because he's pretty sure you're gone. And he's worried about his supply of food for the rest of his life because he's only going to be able to eat you for a week or so. Now, this fucking thing, I went after we were done running the bikes last week. I gave myself like a 45-minute session, just worked everything. I was like, I'm going to be in the truck all day tomorrow. I don't want to feel bad. I still felt like a bag of smashed assholes. I felt awful the next day. So we've done some looking at the bikes, and it is a thing is
I wasn't even killing it, and my legs, my hands, I was like just from staying up on the pegs a little bit, like, oh my god.
Well, I think that's what Merritt figured out. She says, so your butt hole will make you get up on your toes.
Yep.
So you just move the pain from your butt hole to your quads, and eventually you just are a person that stands on the pegs to ride the bike.
Yeah, that's what I did because I hit the jump a couple times and just landed on my ass. I mean, you'd think, it's your seat. I mean, it should be able to hit. No, it doesn't. It just smashes the shit out of your ass, and you're like, this is going to be
3 inches of foam padding where your taint should be, but where you end up putting your taint when you're trying to land it, there is literally a wafer thin piece of foam.
Pretty much the frame.
Over the metal frame.
And underneath that is the metal frame.
So here's the problem I have. So I wore the MX pants, and a pair of underwear underneath, right?
Right.
So I was doing laundry and I pulled that pair of underwear. I remember them because they happened to be brown, which is not the color that I chose, they just were brown, right?
Eventually.
But like the whole ass was gone. So like I think riding that bike, my ass ate my underwear. Like they're gone. Like it wasn't even part of them anymore, and I had to throw them out.
And you just kept pulling threads out of your butthole.
So I literally think that like when you land and you're so far back on that fender that there's so little padding that whatever you have between you and that just gets shoved up.
I'm not ruling that out at this point.
Right. I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying that I think my ass ate my underwear riding the SSR.
So to my immediate right for the podcast listeners and the podcast viewers.
Yes. Well, that'd be me, Steve, ass eating underwear person. Yeah.
Apparently Steve's ass likes to eat underwear.
Right.
Your humble narrator, Phil Waters, to my left.
Oscar.
To his.
Dan Kromke.
Johnny Mac.
It is.
It's a light.
Your ass is the opposite of a millennial. Because millennials like to eat ass.
My ass likes to eat underwear.
There you go, man. So today we like to tell our podcast listeners what we have in store for them today.
Ooh, topics.
So what we have in store for them today, several topics. We have 2 brand new bikes in the shop. 2 bikes we're going to be talking about. Well, one bike Sleepy won't be able to stop talking about.
Nope.
And so that's pretty fucking exciting.
I've already made like 3 or 4 texts selling my other bikes.
Yeah, things happen pretty quick around here.
Yeah.
So those bikes just arrived today. We're also going to talk about mutations, and we've mutated some bikes that are around here. We've made some small alterations to increase the skookumness of certain bikes that we have on hand. So that's pretty fun. I mean, we all like that. You know, dicking with some stuff is cool. We are going to talk about some of the things that are in the news are kind of exciting too. So we're going to cover a couple of news stories as well. We may or may not have a tech tip. We'll see how that goes. But being that we're a smaller crew today, we should probably move through things a little bit faster. One of the things that we were visited today by our guy who's the general manager over at the Triumph dealership, not 900 feet from us, maybe 1,000 feet from us, something like that.
Did he ride over?
No, he didn't. He was driving his van. He was driving his, don't call it a Sprinter, Dodge Ram van, his ProMaster. And so he showed up to pick up some parts we'd ordered for them. And he's like, you motherfuckers, you sons of bitches. And I was like, what the hell? And he's in front of my shop calling me on the phone because our door is locked. Okay. So our door is locked. Our shop has been by appointment only since the day after coronavirus was deemed to be dangerous in the United States of America. We had a decision to make when we found out, 14 months ago or something. Yep. We had a decision to make, and the decision was we're either going to close the shop down 100%, and then that night our governor said car dealerships are deemed to be essential businesses. And wow, wasn't that a smart move considering you can't buy a fucking car right now for love or money, right? And being that car dealerships and car repair service stations are essential businesses. And he said motorcycle and bicycle shops. And that was when we knew that we had literally been gifted the ability to not have to lay anybody off, which, you know, that might have been a thing because my staff could have used an extra $600 a week for unemployment. I would have laid my fucking self off at that point. It was, you know, but anyway, my staff's strange. They want to work. Go figure. They'll earn less money to work harder, I guess. So that happened. And so we have been locked door. Now, locked door means there's a sign on the website. You can't read my website unless you click through a banner that says we are by appointment only. Check the website out, see what you want to learn more about, and call the shop. And then on the door at 3 different heights for short people, medium-sized people, and tall people, we have signs that say no walk-ins, call for an appointment. It doesn't say call and we'll judge you and then we'll give you an appointment if we think you're worthy. It says call for an appointment. The other stuff is implied, right? And we have been doing that for over a year, right? And it has been amazing because
you may never stop doing that.
It's already been said. Renee has just thrown down the edict and said, if we ever open that door again to the general public, she's probably going to quit. She's seen the way the other half lives, you know? And so it's a big deal for us that I like giving people amazing customer service. Like when somebody comes in my shop, here we have what's called the Phil Waters experience. You come in, you ask me one question, I go on for 17 minutes, right? But then you can't ask me any more questions because I've given you all the things you wanted to know about.
And usually you've bought a bike that's way more expensive than you thought you were going to buy sometimes.
Well, yeah, exactly, right. And that's the way.
Well worth it, though.
But who cares? I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. But the idea is I believe in giving somebody a good value for their money when they come into the shop.
Right.
But I can't do that if 17 people are coming in off the street saying, do you guys patch inner tubes and shoelaces? You know, like the weird shit that walks in my store. Do you guys have any 7-inch inner tubes? I've been in this industry for a long fucking time, dude. What do you have that has a 7-inch inner tube in it? Well, it's for my model train. What are you fucking talking about? It's for my Rascal. It's for my hover round. I get the most weird shit that comes in through my door. And people just think that, like, do you guys have steam shovel parts? Why would you think that we had steam shovel parts?
I can imagine that. Like, do you sell stretch swing arms and chroming services comes into play?
Well, I will assure you.
In all fairness, every other stupid fucking thing in here.
That is true. But it is crazy the number of hours. If you're a motorcycle shop owner or you work in a motorcycle shop, it is insane the number of hours in a day that you will give of yourself that you will have no financial return on. And it's guys saying, you know, I've got a problem with the bike I used to own. Can you have a problem with a bike you used to own? Is that even a thing? You know, think about the logic of your statement. I want to just chase you out of my shop on principle.
Well, I have an ex-wife that still bothers the shit out of me all the time. So I
go.
mean, maybe.
There you go. That's it. But that's the level of stupidity we would be in for on a regular day when our door was open. And so you'd have these people coming through, and let's just say it's 1%. You'd have 1% of the people coming through the door that were actively trying to buy something, whether it be a pair of gloves or a helmet or a jacket or maybe a motorcycle. And then you'd have this other 99% of the people coming through the door literally trying to run interference on that transaction. I actually had a guy who shall remain nameless, Santa Claus. He looked at a customer's invoice and says, "What kind of a deal did he give you?"
Oh, are you kidding me?
Nice.
For the record, you may not know this, but it is according to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles Dealer Licensing. I'm allowed to shoot you for that.
It's a HIPAA law, isn't it?
It is a HIPAA law, right? Yeah, exactly. At the minimum, it's a HIPAA law. But so since the door has been closed, some of our usual visitors haven't been able to get in, despite their trying several times to pull the door off its hinges or their inability to read momentarily. They are not able to come in. And it's taken them a while, but they have all migrated to the Triumph shop.
That's why.
Oh my God. Their general manager came to the shop today and was just like, "I hate you. I hate you. I hope you die 1,000 deaths. Because we made the mistake at our Triumph shop of having a coffee corner.
Oh, no.
They have a corner that has comfortable chairs
Jeez.
and internet, like a keyboard, a computer,
yeah.
so people can look at things online.
Jeez.
And they have a coffee pot there.
That's
And they
perfect.
have some couches.
That's perfect. You use their iPad to say, "Dude, I can get this bike $150 cheaper
Right.
down the street,
Yeah,
man." It says
exactly.
right here.
And so you guys know in our shop, we have no horizontal surfaces. Like the idea is if you want to get a sip of coffee in my shop, that means you've already knocked me out and taken mine. So that doesn't happen too often, but
Dunkin' Donuts is
I was
across
going
the
to say,
street.
it's right there.
I've had people all the time be like, "You should have you should have coffee." And I was like, "You should bring your own fucking coffee."
I do.
You know
It's
what?
right over there.
Exactly. And better yet, why do you need coffee and snacks in a shop where you haven't bought anything in 5 years?
You should work out a deal though.
Yeah.
And say that if they're coming from your shop, they get like 10% off.
Of Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah.
And then lock the door behind them. Yeah. I'd be like giving them a coupon. Be like, here's a coupon for 50% off anything at Dunkin' Donuts. And then when they leave, lock the door.
No food or drink allowed.
I thought it was really weird when I went in there. I bought a pair of riding pants
Yeah.
and an oil filter, and they were like so fucking happy to see me. I'm like, what the hell?
Because you were conducting business.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have a cup of coffee.
No, and because everyone else is in there dropping spores. Like they're literally taking fucking root. And so
There was some guy just sitting in one of the lounge chairs the whole time I was there, just sitting.
well, what people don't realize is, so we've talked about this in one of the Moto stories with Unkie Phil. We talked about like how to get a good deal from a
Yeah,
dealership.
yep.
And the first thing is, don't be that fucking guy who comes into my shop and feels like you have to inject yourself into every fucking conversation. And if you're listening to this podcast, you know who the fuck you are. And when that happens, and you are literally following the staff members around the showroom so you can keep telling them a story they didn't ask you to tell, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So since the door has been closed, do you know what's weird? Renee has been keeping track of people who have appointments to look at motorcycles. We have closed 98% of them.
Wow.
That number, if you're an analytics guy and you're a sales guy and you know about that, 98% of the people who made an appointment to come in and talk to me about buying a bike followed through and bought the bike.
That's be like a 5,000% increase.
It's insane.
Yeah, right.
Right. We used to keep track of our door swings and we had a whole logarithm figured out for door swings versus bike sales. It's amazing how much more streamlined my shop is. But here's the crazy thing. We are able to spend more time with each customer because the customer knows they're getting a 30-minute window that isn't going to drag on for 7 hours because they get interrupted or you lose track of something or you have to go answer the phone or go, whatever. Or you have to go answer a guy's question about gloves. Like when he holds his hand up to your face and says, "What size glove do I wear?"
My line was, I see you're asking $65 for these.
Right. Yes. Yeah. You're gonna haggle on a pair of gloves.
So do you find that customers that make an appointment are themselves more educated and prepared for the interaction?
Boy, it's like you read the script. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. Because of course, what are they doing? They're goal oriented. They want to buy a motorcycle. They want to buy a scooter. They know what they're doing, right? They're not here because they've been retired for 7 years and they're worried that nobody loves them. Or they know they have a certain number of days left on the earth and they have to spread their story. You know, they need to have a Chautauqua about something. Right. So that's hilarious. And we understand that in today's culture, there need to be safe spaces for old white men. This is not one, okay? I'm going to tell you.
There are plenty of those out there, too.
The Triumph dealership has made a decision, a tactical decision. They're doing great, don't get me wrong. They're one of the greatest dealerships in America this year based on their sales numbers. They're doing great, and it's working for them. But when you choose a strategy, you get all the parts that go with that strategy. Our strategy is keep the door closed and keep the shop to have no more than 2 people in any given moment. And at some point, once the whole planet is vaccinated, that's never going to happen. Once we reach herd immunity, no, a lot more people have to die for that to happen.
That being said, our podcast is vaccinated, right?
Yes.
Everybody.
Yep.
We're all
I have one more shot.
He's got one to go.
One on Monday.
Yep. There's our weak links right there.
Yeah, see?
And then these two are the two that can't keep their hands off of each other.
I know. Well, he's gone, yeah.
I know. So
but he does have the advantage of having all the microbiotic
poop enzymes.
Yeah.
The poop enzymes.
I have no idea where I even am with the whole thing, but I'm trying to get my vaccines and everything.
And look, you'll feel better once it's done, because then you'll be like, whether or not anybody else is wearing pants, I'm wearing pants, and you can't pee on me if I'm wearing pants.
Or if you do, it's just warm and it's fine.
Right. It's exactly it. It's true.
I'll only have a 5% chance of getting whatever I may or may not have ever had.
Exactly.
Right. Yep.
And that's the best way to look at it, too. The numbers are in our favor. Let's put it that way. So I'm happy that way because I like to afford myself the maximum number of freedoms in life. Go figure. I don't need anything saying your behavior has to be limited because of whatever. If I got to handle a couple of pricks and then go crazy, bring on the pricks, right? So
I was talking with a certain someone today, and I'm like, well, maybe the vaccine was a vaccine to protect all certain people, the liberals. Let's just say it. So if you haven't taken it, then you're going to be the target. You'll be what? Oh,
I don't.
Not that I don't believe any of that. That was just.
It's a great look. What this has done is for all the people that like to swim in this hypothetical sea, this has given them shit to talk about for 20 years. I love it. It's great. We needed something to talk about. But what I think it's done is it rescued my business. It absolutely rescued my business, because I can tell you that the first 20 years of dealing with a system where the door was open and anybody could walk through was turning me into a curmudgeonly, angry piece of shit. And this last year, I have felt an enormous weight lifted off of me. I've become jovial. I've become happy about everything. And when somebody comes into my store, I'm thrilled they're here. And I think they can tell. Yeah. When somebody tries to break into my store, which happens every day, well, yeah, I just drove here from Colorado and I didn't know that you were by appointment only. I just need to come in and look around.
I mean, can't you call and make an appointment? From
Dunkin', my fucking driveway.
From your driveway? From Dunkin' Donuts?
You know what's weird? We printed the phone number on those pieces of paper that say you must make an appointment. And nobody says it's like if you fail your driver's test, you have to wait a day before you take another one. No, you can make an appointment right there.
Okay, we have one person in here. They'll be done in about a half hour.
They'll be done in 2 minutes, I've told people. I've literally walked outside and said, look, I've got customers scheduled, or I've got people in there right now. They will literally be done in 5 minutes. When they leave, you're on deck. And great. And they pull out of the driveway and fuck off and leave. I'm like, you just saved me so much trouble.
You're like, listen, I built a whole coffee shop for you right across the street.
Exactly.
Go hang out.
Exactly. Go across to Dunkin' Donuts and have yourself a fake donut.
So that being said, knowing that things are changing and knowing that we're never going back to normal, even if we are, like everything, say the virus is gone.
Right.
Are you now 100% appointment only boutique shop?
I'm going to try to stay this way until somebody creates a court order that says I can't. Honestly, I'm not joking. And
even I called to make an appointment. I'm like,
John literally,
I'm
he's the closest thing to a brother I have in this room.
I could easily just walk in here and nobody would say anything, but I'm going to try to obey the rules. I mean, it's not that big a deal.
And it is hilarious because when you have somebody arguing with you out there and they're arguing out there, I'm like, if this is the way you responded to one,
we're not going to get
one
along.
rule. You were never cut out to be my customer anyway. No. You were horrible. You're like, I'll triple dog dare you. I will give you any bike you want to buy in my showroom for $5,000 right now if you'll produce the cash, because you don't have it. You literally came in here because you had nowhere better to be.
And not to pick on this place, because they're a fine place, whatever. But even during the pandemic and the plague and everything, can you call Johnny K's and get an hour with their owner?
Right, exactly.
No, you can't.
No.
You're going to get Jesse James or one of the other guys.
Well, how about this? Can you imagine time before COVID if somebody had the balls to call my shop and say, hello, I'm considering buying a motorbike today, but I'm going to need at least a half an hour.
With the owner.
With your very best salesperson. In fact, make it the owner. Can you agree to my terms?
Right.
We would have said, well, fuck your distinguished hat, right? We would have said, what makes you so fucking special?
Right.
But here it is a year later, and you know what we're saying?
Sure.
What time would you like to show up, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hold on. Let me put on my best I'm listening to you face.
Do you enjoy Earl Grey, or are you more of an herbal?
Right, exactly. and it is hilarious. So this is that thing. I know.
Does anybody call and ask for Renee or James?
No. Well, I mean, yes, they do when that's who they're working with, because, we do share the burden here, but that is the other thing, is like, it gives me the ability to keep track of my customers.
I don't want to speak with the owner. Right. I want to speak with somebody else.
Yeah, I've experienced the Phil Waters experience, and I'm ready for something else. But it is, what is magic about it though is you guys know I'm pretty bad with names, because things move pretty fast around here. This year though, I'm good with names. This year I'm literally, Tim, man, so great you brought your bike back for service. That's kick-ass, man. How you doing? Like, that whole thing has made me better.
Dude, so one of the greatest salesmen who turned into a complete douchebag, but I know him. All the years I worked at motorcycle shops, he was a salesman that worked at them, and he made a very good living. Mm-hmm. And he taught me the thing that he learned is when somebody walks in, you put that face, and then you ask them a question about their family. Oh. Okay? And so, like, it would be like 8 months later, and it'd be like, Jim, how's your mom doing? The last time you were here, she was sick.
And it's so huge difference.
Instantly, people are like, this guy remembers me.
This guy's family.
And so he wouldn't know shit. He didn't care about you. He didn't care about anything.
Right.
But he remembered that one fact, and I watched him sell people motorcycles they should have never had because of him.
It's just a different thing. And we've been able to spend, what I think is great is everybody that comes through the shop, people have a lot of weird ideas about financing. Like, it's amazing what people don't know about credit. And you come out of this industry, John, like, you know how predatory just a dealer supplied loan can be.
Oh my gosh.
What people don't know is shocking. And it gives me the ability to put on my David Ramsey jacket and, like, you like that, huh? And talk about God.
I got stories.
Let's sprinkle a little dealer reserve on there.
Right, exactly. Right. Let's talk about some F&I, right?
Dealer reserve, what's that?
Right.
And that's just extra money you're going to pay.
Yeah.
Because we think, this one will pay extra.
I know that you're going to get
how much more will they pay?
There's a 4.9% APR that you just can't beat anywhere. It's the best thing in the world. And pay no attention to the application fee. Right. That's it. Or the processing fee or whatever. So
we don't really like to even focus on what the price of the vehicle is. We just like to focus on the payment.
We like to keep it in your budget. We're going to work hard to keep this in your budget.
It's going to be a very low payment.
What I'm thinking is you can probably swing $112 a month.
No problem.
For the rest of your God-given life.
Yeah.
But when I have the opportunity to be with customers one-on-one now, you know what's hilarious? Our bike sales have gone up about 50%, but the number of bikes that we've financed have dropped by almost 70%.
Really?
Because we're training people to use their credit unions.
Yeah.
We're training people to use their banks. Or if they've never been in a credit union, we're training them for how to get into a credit union, because that's a better way to get money. I'm trying to rebuild my credit. Well, let me tell you something. getting a loan from Freedom Road or Roadrunner or anything else that has the word road in it is not the best way to rebuild your credit. They don't report to any of the credit bureaus until you fuck up. Meanwhile, if you're in a credit union and you're making a payment, that is being reported every single time.
That's like Lending Club. Lending Clubs hands out these loans, and you look, and it's like 29% and 24% and all this stuff. Pay off your credit cards. You can do it.
Right.
Hey, my credit card's 14%. You're at 21%. Like, how does that benefit me?
I'm going to assure you here, guys, here's a crazy thing. Any loan you're going to sign at any car dealership, any loan you're going to sign at any motorcycle dealership is going to have a thing that's going to be like 1.9, 2.9, 0% 9, 0.0. That's called the promotional rate. Mm-hmm. Do you know how long the promotional rate lasts? Until they decide it doesn't. Right. If you miss one payment by 1 day, your promotional rate term is over. You now go to the default term, which could be 20.99%. Try to pay off anything at 20.99%.
My ex-wife in 2007 demanded that we move. She wanted my kids to go to a different school system, whatever. And I was so busy.
What a cunt. Looking out for your children.
Well, she had other motives. But she picked a time of the year where, like, in my old job, I was traveling like 3 weeks a month. Like, I was just gone. Right. So I said, fuck it. You handle it and just do it, right?
Yeah.
So she found a thing that we could afford, whatever. And it was a house in Bainbridge. It was like a $360,000 house, this big-ass house. I'm like, really? It's only like $1,400 a month? She's like,
there you go.
And I was like, okay, great. And then, like, I get
everybody
back.
has a 70-year mortgage.
Oh, yeah, no, more than that. She was so smart that she signed us up for a fucking arm.
Oh.
That, like, at the 7th year became like $4,000 a month.
Oh, fuck.
But fortunately, she cheated on me and we got divorced the next year, so we got to get rid of it. But that shit exists.
How long did it take you to convince that guy to cheat on her?
Oh, it was my intern. It was even better. It worked out great.
Mitch, I need you to do me a solid.
I mean, I went to a local bank, and I won't say it. They flat out told me, we don't have a fixed rate mortgage.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, sorry.
I got in the wrong place then.
I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
The concept of charging you a set amount of money for more than 10 years does not exist to us. We want to keep our options open in this relationship.
We do. It's a fixed rate. There's a fixed rate, but then there's this variable part.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll always pay this fixed rate.
Except when we need you to pay more.
Dude, but I don't understand. So if I would have had to go through that whole loan with her, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, did they, like, what changes in 7 years that you think I'm going to be making 4 times what I'm making now?
Well, you do know that America is full of temporarily embarrassed, displaced future millionaires, right?
Oh,
okay, right.
Gotcha.
So you're just, again, you don't know this, but part of her retirement plan was the lottery. Right, that's it.
You just haven't reached your full potential yet.
Right, that's exactly it. I'm making this much now. Clearly, I'm going to be making a lot more in 4 years.
Yeah.
So that's that. But anyway, that's it. So I think that by being able to spend time with people in literally 30-minute blocks of time.
Well, because you don't get a kickback when they finance through whoever they finance through. You're not getting money.
We're not big enough. And because, Suzuki dealers do, BMW dealers, certain different dealers do, that when you write a loan with a certain provider, you might get a $250 spiff. And yes, when you're talking to somebody at a Honda dealership or a Suzuki dealership, there might be no margin on the bike at all.
And you're not selling a $1,500 service warranty on top of everything that they already normally get.
The gentleman who was in my shop today was shocked. He goes, so now I've been doing this for 20 years. Tell me about what this is going to cost. And I said, see that tag hanging on the handlebars? He said, yeah. And I said, that's the whole thing. He goes, yeah, right. He goes, no. That's adorable. That's great. That's very adorable and quaint that you're trying to give this false image of honesty. But I know that at this point, once I agree to that, there's going to be a service contract.
F&I.
I know there's going to be F&I, which is finance and insurance, or which is,
Rick Case's favorite
stands for something else, right?
Yeah.
So, but I told him, no, that's it. He's like, well, what about like tire warranties? What about gap insurance? And I was like, I said, yeah, you've been around for a while. I said, somebody's hurt you, didn't they?
Yeah.
And he's like,
tell me where the dealership got you.
Exactly. And I was like, yeah, man, I used to work at a dealership that did that. I came from that. That's why our shop doesn't run that way. The price is there.
You should have a doll that's like just a schmuck looking dude. It's like ambiguous. You can't tell if he's white, black, nothing, right?
No, but he looks like a schmuck.
Yeah, and just be like, so show me where the dealership touched you last time.
Well, it's the strangest thing because people have never bought a motorcycle or car that way. They've just never done it. Anybody who's ever bought a new car knows that it's going to battle, right? It's not a very pleasant experience. And then you think you're done and you're like, I'm ready to roll out with my car. James called me from the Ford dealer when he bought his Ranger. And he's like, okay, I've told them I'm going to pay them the amount of money they're asking for the car. I have been standing here holding my checkbook and a pen for in excess of 2.5 hours. I've now talked to 6 different people. They won't let me out of here, right? Because literally they put him through the grinder. You can buy a bike in my shop. We have done it in 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
I've done it. I've done it in 10 minutes and didn't talk to anybody except for Renee to sign something.
That's all you got to do, dude.
Because I said, yes, I want it. You said, okay, come in Saturday. You were busy.
Right.
So you pointed at the bike. I went like this.
That was it.
Then Renee gave me paperwork. I signed it. I gave her money and I left with the bike.
You just have to sign that affidavit to transfer title.
So do you know how many signatures it actually takes to buy a motorcycle at my shop? It's weird. It's going to freak you out.
1.
2. If you don't get a temp tag. If you get a temp tag, I need 3 signatures. I need a signature on the bill of sale and I need a signature on the application for title. That's it. By law, that's it. That's all I need. Anybody who's ever bought a car anywhere knows it's about 47 signatures and like 400 initials. We don't have you initial anything. It's just literally 2 signatures. That's it.
So, but let me ask you this. So as a guy who owns a company where you do these things, right? It doesn't matter if you're selling cars, washing machines or anything. Well, let's just stick to vehicles.
We'll stick with vehicles.
Cars, boats, motorcycles, doesn't matter.
Things that have titles.
Yeah. So why would you have a pleasant front end of the room, and then a really shitty back end to make people never want to come back to your dealership?
And that's the statement. You know, it's like, I love my car, but I'll never go back to that dealer ever again.
Right. Because it's the F&I guy. All these guys with the warranties and the bullshit and the fucking all this
It's the
stuff.
very small, fucked up room that you go into that has things taped to the desk that say why gap insurance is important.
Right.
Because the second you roll this piece of shit off of the lot, it's worth 40% less. So if you total it, your insurance company is going to write you a check that you can't buy a Yugo with.
Right.
So we want to protect you for less than the price of a cup of coffee every 9 seconds.
Right.
You can protect your investment. And that's what I've heard people tell me. And I've heard, that whole thing about for less than the price of a cup of coffee a day, you could have a 20-year warranty on this car.
And they do it even snakier than that. The place that I was stuck with buying my car, which I was buying a used car. It wasn't anything expensive. It was like, whatever. And the guy, they used a tactic where they were like, Hyundais come with a 100,000-mile warranty, 10-year warranty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here at this dealership, we double that. We take it to 200,000 and whatever. And I'm like, awesome. He's like, so you like that? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, sign here. I'm like, whoa, wait, so you giving that to me? Oh no, it's $28 a month.
That's right.
I'm like, motherfucker, you didn't start this off with, would you like an additional warranty?
You just added $365 a year to the sale of that vehicle, probably payable up front for 5 years.
Right. And when I told the guy, like, listen, man, I'm not going past this fucking payment amount. I don't care if you offer me the world. That's how much I literally have this much money to spend a month.
Right.
He wrote me off and said, why'd you waste my time? I stayed here extra.
Well, you know what? Did he not offer to throw in the compulsory unicorn whistles?
Right. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous though. But the thing is that the dealership, they were halfway decent up until that point.
Of course they were.
And now I will never go back to
Of course you won't. Right. And you'll tell your friends.
And I'm telling every one of my friends. Yeah.
And that's generally, if you look up any dealership and you read their YouTube, or you read their Google reviews or their Facebook reviews or their Yelp reviews or whatever, they all say the same thing. Mm-hmm. I had a great time up until this point.
Right.
And that's usually what happens. And
do they make enough money on that bullshit to justify that?
Yes.
Oh my God.
100%.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I was driving home and I saw a car on the Carvana truck. Mm-hmm. And when I looked at that, I just thought, somebody ordered that car.
There's one born every minute.
Yeah. That Carvana truck is going to pull in their driveway and drop off this car, and they're going to feel like they got the Carvana experience. Yep. But I can only imagine how many boxes and extra this and that they have paid for.
And I like to say, straight from the wholesale auction to you, Carvana.
Yeah, well, it looked like a used Ford
they're
something.
selling the car before they ever have possession of it.
Oh, totally.
Like this happens all the time. And they're basically banking on the futures of saying, okay, well, this car is available at this auction at this place at this time. Hey, guess what? We put it up on our website. You bought it. Right. Yay, that's great. We're going to go buy that car now. Right? That's fucked up, man. I mean, and we've seen companies do that. In our podcast, we talked about the company that was doing that with motorcycles. And we had pulled a little trick on them because I had told them I wanted to sell my, cash for your motorcycle right now. And I told them I wanted to sell my Harley Davidson, whatever, Softail. And I told them I wanted to do that. And I sent them pictures of the Harley and they told me they would mail me a check that day for $3,800 before the ink was dry.
Yeah.
Before anything had happened, they had already had it listed on their website for $7,000, $8,000.
I forgot about that.
They didn't own the vehicle yet, but they were representing it as though they did.
So did you try to buy your own bike back?
No. I figured at that point the snake was eating its own head too many times anyway. So go figure. But that's just one of the things. So when people do talk about that, there's been a lot of discussion lately about, oh, well, your store's closed or your door's locked. Look, the door is locked. Yes. And that's to keep out more than just COVID.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But you can get through that locked door. In fact, I will be the gatekeeper and I will open it for you. You don't need to make an appointment a week in advance. In fact, I opened that door today for 3 people who fucking called from the parking lot and said, I'm very interested in, I'm interested in a Zero. I'm not sure what's going to fit me better, an FX or an S. Holy shit, you're an educated consumer?
Right.
I need you. I want to know more about you. So please put on your mask. There's the hand sanitizer. Don't touch me. And let's get in here, right? Let's get in here and let's talk about motorcycles for a minute. Right. And the guy was great. The guy's like, I watch your videos. It's really cool. And I really wanted to try this on and sit on this and that and the other thing else. Here's a weird thing. Do you know what happened? He didn't have an appointment. Do you know what he did? He put a deposit down on the bike. Guess what? That's a guy that we would have called a walk-in.
Right.
But there would have been other people that could have interfered with his ability to get the information he needed. I'm so much happier he had that experience and didn't have to, and look, not everyone is gregarious. Not everyone is going to fight their way to the front of the attention stack. Some people are introverts. Some people don't want to go in there and have to compete for somebody's attention.
Well, that's kind of what kills me about the whole financing of cars and stuff like that. Is the people who really get hurt are the people who are nice, polite, and all too often, usually an older woman or, like if grandma went in to buy a car, she would pay whatever they told her. She wouldn't want to make them upset. Or if the first sign that they showed, like, oh, you're really making a big mistake, she would crumble. You know what I mean? Like
a dealership convinced my mom that because they had to move the car that she was buying, a pre-owned car, because they had to move that car from Parma to Mentor, 30 minutes away, tops, that she would have to pay a $500 vehicle relocation fee. Now, you know what's worse than that? James paid it. So when James bought his blue car, like they told him, that's great. If you don't want to pay for that fee, well, then you can buy a car somewhere else, I guess. But we spent 6 hours working this deal out. So we had to bring this car from another dealership. That takes time. You got to pay for that time. And James actually signed on the line and paid for that because James is such a nice guy, which nobody who's sitting in this room will ever believe I said that. But he is not confrontational. And he paid it because he was just like, at this point, I was just like, fuck it. I just want the car.
When I bought my Kia, it was beautiful. I had a brand new salesman, young kid and everything.
There you go.
And I was nice with him mostly. Piper was with me, though. She was just like, Dad, oh, my God, I can't believe it. I'm like, what? Because he wanted me to, he's like, I want money. Can you get, the car didn't run. It had been sitting in the parking lot for a while, so I know nobody was really looking at it. It was buried in the middle of a bunch of cars. I hadn't even taken it for a test ride. They needed to put a new battery in it. Oh. He's trying to get $500 out of me, earnest money. Right. I'm like, I'm not giving you any earnest money.
Right. Are you kidding me?
And he goes away and he comes back and my manager says, I have to get some kind of earnest money. I'm like, I haven't even driven it. You're not getting a penny from me. Put a battery in it.
Right. Exactly.
So then I came back again and I test drove it. And then he was asking for it. I'm like, I know nobody's going to buy that car. It's been sitting here for months. I don't have to give you anything. please, will you just give me something? I'm like, no, I'm not giving you anything. When I decide to buy it, I'm going to sign the paperwork and I'm going to walk out of here with that car. You know, like.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get.
If it's, well, somebody else could come along and buy it. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Please do.
Yeah. Were you buying a rare car that they don't make anymore?
No, I'm buying a Kia Sorento.
Right.
It was a V6 and nobody wanted a V6. Everybody wants the fuel efficient four banger. And I'm like, no.
I totally agree. And so that's the thing. So
I asked for floor mats. I asked for this. I asked for that. I laughed at their service warranty.
Right.
Well, if it breaks, you're going to spend a lot of money. I'm like, no, I'm going to fix it. Well, you must be a really good mechanic. I'm like, I am a really good mechanic. And guess what? It broke, and I fucking fixed it. So fuck them. I did get balloons. Piper got a whole big thing of punchy balloons.
Oh, she did?
I wheedled that. They had balloons around. I'm like, what about some of these balloons? Can I get some of these fucking balloons? He goes in the back and gets some of those. I'm like, yay, we got something free. Yes.
I see you got a popcorn machine in the corner.
I did that at the mattress shop.
I've got a garbage bag. I'll be back in a second.
we went and bought my daughter the cheapest fucking like twin like little kid mattress you could get. It was like $110. And the guy's like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my youngest daughter was with me, and it was the sheep, you know, like the fucking sleeping sheep or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had the dolls sitting there, and she was eyeballing. And I'm like, yeah, we might take this bed if that sheep was helping us. He's like,
my God.
I got him to give the sheep.
Look, if I was just in looking or just in taking a test drive, I had no intention of buying, but I was serious. I knew I wanted, that was the car I wanted to buy. So I'm willing to be like, all the niceties are out. Let's just get brass tacks. I don't have to. Let's not mess around. I want this. I wanted it at a good price. I'm asking. I offered him half of. I didn't offer him half of them, but I offered. Oh, we can't go that low. Well, how low can you go? You know, like I felt like I worked him over good.
Yeah, well, I mean, and this is another thing too.
But I followed through and I bought the.
You bought the damn car.
Right,
you know, I mean, that's what it comes down to. And if you feel like you're beating up a dealer, that dealer has just allowed himself to be put in a position to be beat up.
Yeah.
Come into my shop and try to beat me up and see what happens. We're never going to put you in the position where that can even be entertained. I'm going to point at this. I'm going to point at a tag hanging on the handlebars, and I won't say a single thing. I'll just point at it. And the more you demand to have a negotiation, the more I will point at the tag, and the further I will walk from you. Until eventually we're barely in the same room together, and you're standing there demanding to have an argument with yourself.
Well,
and
at some point, if you really want to be hardcore about a negotiation like that, you have to say, look, I understand. You want $69.99. I'm willing to give you $59.99.
Right.
Call me if you just change your mind and walk out. Sometimes you got to walk out. Maybe we just walk out.
There you go. So would anyone
But
like
not
to...
at Phil's place.
No.
Buy it.
Fucking buy it or don't buy it. Dude, what are you here for? Like, don't... Look,
Well,
here's what I can tell you. As John says, I have faith in you. I have faith that you have better things to do today than to spend a protracted amount of time in here dicking around doing the thing that you wanted to do anyway. Like, let's, as they said with the first King Kong movie, get to the fucking monkey, right? I'm not here to watch any of those characters. I'm here for the monkey. And unless you have shown me the monkey, I am not interested in your fucking movie that's called King Kong. So let's get to the fucking monkey. And then we're going to have a great time. Because once the monkey comes out, then I'm in, right? We're there. We're totally digging it. So news today, well, not news today. You guys know, if you've been listening to our podcast for any period of time, you'll know that we have a very, very strange weather pattern regarding the Royal Enfield motorcycle brand. John and I have literally reached into the guts of those motorcycles and pulled out broken pieces of metal from motorcycles that were put in through such stressful activities as going 70 miles an hour. Okay? Under small, wayfish-like people, right? We know
or
that...
50 miles an hour with a sidecar.
Right, 50 miles an hour with a sidecar, and the bottom end just completely ate shit, right? I mean, we have seen this. John and I have worked on these bikes together. We are hand to God telling you that if you find any other Royal Enfield dealers or service technicians, they will tell you very much the same thing, that the 500cc Royal Enfields were a bit of a crapshoot. Now we have it on good authority from many different people who are Royal Enfield dealers and Royal Enfield employees that the Royal Enfield 650 is just the cat's pajamas. Like, they're just the best thing ever, which is a little hard to take considering how many hours John and I have spent literally peeling these broken motherfuckers up off the side of the road. Yep. So well done that you've had such a sea change between your 500cc product and your 650cc product. Now, at this point, I want every fanboy to go, well, you know, those are made in different factories and there's a different person in charge of the company now and they've taken care of everything that wasn't the same. Oh, your company's been around since like 1901 or something, right? And I know many different people have owned it, but it's still that same bike and I'm going to have to be careful about it just a tiny bit. So they have launched the Enfield
Sportster.
No. The Enfield Meteor 350. That means it's slightly meatier than the 500. Is that what it means?
But it's a Sportster.
Well, no, it's not.
It looks exactly like a Sportster.
Oh, I don't think I would ever say it looks like a Sportster. I think it looks like
an 883.
I think it looks no.
Can you put it up on the screen?
I can put it up on the screen. It doesn't look like a Sportster though. It looks like what 1981 Honda thought a Sportster looks like.
Okay, it's a form of a Sportster.
Well, except for it's got one vertical cylinder like a Suzuki. Like a Suzuki penetrator. I mean intruder. So it's got that, and it has a heel toe shifter, which apparently was a big surprise to people that have never been to India before.
It has a step seat.
It has a step seat, a swayback horse going on, but if you read the various different, and I'm not here to talk about the Royal Enfield Meteor 350 because honestly, I look at that motorcycle. And that is my definition of a bad week of riding a motorcycle. Like,
well, how is that different than the Bullet 350? Because there was a Bullet.
Exactly. The 350 motor has been alive and well in the Indian market for about 4,000 years because it was the down market version of the 500s we got in America. And in India, if you had the 500, whoa, holy shit, you got the big cool bike. Like
the big block.
That was the big block. That was the, made like a gun, goes like a bullet. And we just said just a really poorly made gun.
Bottom end goes like bang.
I believe it might have been a Kimber or something. I don't know what the brand of gun that was, but anyway. So here we are. My complaint isn't with the bike itself because, Royal Enfield is going to sell 20 million of these things no matter what happens.
And in the back of my mind, isn't Honda releasing their new CB350 into the Indian market?
Ooh.
What is this supposed to be the competition to Honda?
Enfield has always had a 350. So Honda entering a 350 in the Indian market is more them trying to take some of the sales away from Royal Enfield than it is. Because historically speaking, the Kinetics and the Hondas and stuff have been 125 or 180 cc's. So when they bring in that fucking, whatever they call it, the King or the Koenigsegg or whatever the Honda name for their new CB350 is in the Indian market. But here's my complaint. It's the journalism. It's the fucking journalism about this bike. I'm going to tell you that bike is a boring, flaccid piece of shit that nobody is going to be happy about ever, ever, ever. If somebody buys you that motorcycle, you're going to say, thank you for buying me a motorcycle. And you're going to immediately try to figure out how to sell it. All right. As soon as they're out of range and as soon as their feelings won't be hurt, you're going to punt that bike along and replace it by something that's fun and exciting or has some style to it or looks great or doesn't look like the girl who couldn't afford to go out with a Sportster.
Even the other, like the 500s, like the C4 and so they had
the
style.
C5. The C5, yeah.
There was some real style.
Extraordinarily
the military
stylish.
versions, those look really cool.
Very stylish.
Even the Harley.
That don't look cool.
What's the Harley? The Harley Streetster or whatever, the 700 from a year or two ago?
The streets. The various different streets.
Yeah,
they're made in India.
Yeah, they're not that bad compared to that.
Right, exactly. Well, but here's the other thing. I want to just read the writing. Reality rarely lives up to expectations. Hollywood films, your favorite team's title odds, your kids' Ivy League prospects, etc., etc. The rule also applies to motorcycles. So when Royal Enfield unveiled its new Meteor 300 in November of 2020, I casually classified it as a budget-friendly beginner bike. Just 3 months later, the Indian brand announced that it had already sold 10,000 units of the Neo Classic Cruiser. Stop. He starts by saying reality rarely lives up to expectations. This bike has lived up to every single one of my expectations. Sitting here right now, I can tell you that if we all got to pick motorcycles, if we went to a place and they said, here's a dozen motorcycles, here's 11 of your friends, each of you is getting a motorcycle, and I happen to draw the keys for the Royal Enfield Meteor 350, that it is going to do exactly what I think it's going to do. It is going to put me to goddamn sleep, right? It's just what it's going to do. Do you know how much this bike weighs?
Oh.
Way more than a goddamn Moto Guzzi 750.
Really?
Yeah, it does. It weighs 421 fucking pounds for a 350. Exactly. Do you know what it's made out of? Apparently, India's recycled battleships. Okay? I've seen the guys on the beach cutting them up.
A Kawasaki Versys weighs 426 pounds.
For a 650.
Versys.
For a 650 with multiple cylinders, liquid cooling, and a partridge in a pear tree.
That TS 250 that I was riding,
Yeah.
that's 247 pounds.
Exactly.
I'm like, holy cow, how's this old pig two-stroke weighs? It doesn't weigh.
It doesn't weigh much.
Yeah.
This thing weighs 421 pounds.
What's the retail on it?
$5,000.
Yeah, no
For a
way,
350?
man. No way, dude.
Again,
If it was 3,500, it might be competitive in the United States.
sure. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
$5,000 for a 350 turd that weighs 500 pounds?
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly
How much is the
it.
Benelli 302 that's going to go way fucking... Hold on. So the Benelli that you sell, the 302,
302 Benelli, which I have ridden, and
which has 41 millimeter forks at the top, that has little typical...
It's got
tiny
Brembo
fork.
brakes and all kinds of cool shit. It's got
Yeah,
Pirelli tires.
yeah.
It kicks ass. It's fast. It goes 100 miles an hour.
The
much
Meteor
is
has
that?
forks that go like this while it's idling.
Right.
Did you see that the forks are made of pasta? I mean, they're 31 millimeter. Right. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, the 500s are just sitting there idling. You could watch the front wheel going like this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so, I mean, what's the price on the Benelli? 46?
42.
42.
42.
So for out the door, $1,000 less, basically between the two.
Right.
You can have a bike that performs compared to this noodle.
Right. Exactly.
That ain't gonna happen in this. No
Yeah.
way.
A TNT 302S,
Yeah.
which is liquid cooled, has 2 cylinders, has 8 valves, is fuel injected, and kicks much ass. Costs less than this 350 Meteor, which does look like the guy that showed up second to the Suzuki Intruder lookalike contest. You know,
But they're handmade.
who? What?
The Royal Enfield.
The Royal Enfields? Yeah, it's because they couldn't afford the tooling. Yeah. John and I have seen we've seen the results of their handmade craftsmanship. Okay, well the hole's over here, but where's the bolt? Oh, can you find the bolt, John? Where's the fucking bolt?
I don't have
Oh, they just put it through the metal over here.
Can't find that confounded bolt.
It looks like the fork is bent. We're gonna have to order a new one. Hold on.
Yeah.
His job has to whittle one.
Once you take a bolt out and everything springs the way
Yes.
it's supposed to be.
We've done that.
no.
We've
You're like,
taken.
oh shit.
We tried to take a fender off. We tried to take a fender off and bent the frame. It did. We both watched it happen. I mean, that was, and that's what we're saying. And
You
again,
need 3 sets of hands to be able to hold it all together to get the bolt in.
exactly. And I mean, this is just it. So we think about things like that. And then when you read all this crap, it basically says the transmission doesn't work right, but eventually I figured it out. And then it reads things
A
like
Royal Enfield with transmission problems?
Go figure.
No way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then it basically says, oh, when I turned left, it turned left. And when I turned right, it turned right. So yay. Okay, great. But anyway, if you do fit the pint-sized cruiser, if you do fit, by the way, that's how he starts the sentence.
If you do.
If you do fit. When I first saw Royal Enfield's new cruiser, visions of a circus bear on a trike came to mind. Someone my size wouldn't need to worry about replicating that image, but anyone above 6 feet tall might want to throw a leg over the Meteor before ordering one. Yeah, this is built for the Indian market, folks.
Yeah.
That's a
what it is.
TU-250.
Look, it literally has a 55-inch wheelbase. I love this. When somebody's best thing they can write about a bike is it handled side-to-side transitions with aplomb. Wait a second. The bike, and I'm using his words, it tackled side-to-side transitions with aplomb. You mean that the fact that the bike changed directions from left to right successfully
It's a good thing.
is notable?
Yeah.
Doesn't tackled imply he went to the ground?
Tackled implies it took some bit of effort. Right. Yeah. When we eventually healed this fucker over. Yeah. Yeah.
That looks almost as good as a Honda Twin Star.
The nimbleness could be at times border on twitchy.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Guess what? It's not a great bike, and it is exactly what I feel like it would be, and I think it delivers exactly what it suggests it will. The sad thing is that it is really, Royal Enfield's air-cooled 349cc singles finds a way to bridge single-cylinder practicality with the visceral feel of a V-twin. It carries the signature pitter-patter of a thumper at idle, but a twist of the throttle introduces a throaty exhaust note. That low-end thrum can easily capture the affections of any devout V-twin fan, but the sound and vibration never border on obnoxious.
Yeah, but a 125 SSR sounds loud and ballsy,
Look, dude,
too.
think about what the guy just wrote. It's a single.
Right.
It's not a twin.
Right.
Quit expecting it to be a twin.
Right.
And at idle, it goes tap, 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 tap. And when you crack the throttle open, it gets louder. That's good writing. That's good writing right there. I gotta hand it to you. That's good writing because that's exactly what he fucking said.
I just think they shine so well in India because of the type of roads and situations that they're being rid. And when you watch videos of somebody climbing up a mountainside on a goat path on one of these bikes, because it does have torque for days, and they love them because it could just be like tok, 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 tok.
They're beaters.
The shift point, John and I will tell you, the shift point on Royal
It has
Enfield
automatic
motorcycles,
traction control because the pulses let it hook up every time.
With
it
a
starts.
93-pound flywheel. But not joking, you could shift a Royal Enfield. I've done it in a parking lot many times to show customers. No hand on the throttle. Shift through all 5 speeds of the transmission without ever touching the throttle or the clutch. So you could shift the bike without ever touching the clutch or the throttle through all 5 gears, because what it had and what this bike has is literally 20 Hurspurs and 19 torques. And then they say it has problems passing traffic. It lacks passing power. And it's not up to any task that you might need. However, for my 421 pounds of motorcycle, if I'm buying a motorcycle by the pound, I'm not going to buy
Slug.
the Meteor 350. Jeez. I mean, that's just it. I mean, honestly, these numbers that are on here are way lower than a Vespa GTS 300.
It is the rototiller of motorcycles.
It is. It is exactly it. It should be. They could, for the United States market, rebrand it with Cub Cadet. Probably beyond to something there. It does achieve 70 miles per hour in 4th gear.
Are there any implements that I can attach to it?
Exactly.
Dude, this might bring back Sears. Sears might be able to come back.
Oh, shit, guys.
With this fucking bike.
If they just had a pulley that came out one side and it was a power takeoff, you could do all kinds of things. Put a motor deck under it and stuff like that. It'd be great.
Yep. The Supernova trim is an extra $600, $45.99. So, or that's the heck of a bargain. It says heck of a bargain. It's not a heck of a bargain, dude. It's just not that is not a heck of a bargain. I don't care. So anyway, that's me. I fucking hate it. Again, it's in the news and I fucking hate it. I can't stand it. And if you make me ride one of these, I'm probably not going to be your friend. I'll probably knock you off whatever you're riding and you'll have no choice but to get on this and chase me and you won't be able to catch me. Because if I'm on anything bigger than a Vespa, you're going to see nothing but my backside. So yeah, that's that.
So speaking of news, since you brought up news, on Adventure Rider, they had an article, and it's also on a few of the other websites, about politics in Alabama. And so none of us here are afraid of wearing helmets. In fact, I think most of us 90% of the time do.
I think I have 8 of them in this building right now.
Right.
I'm a bit of a helmet fetishist.
Right. There's the occasion when we're, out at the dirt bike place and we might take a lap or two without one. But 90% of the time, 95% of the time, we're all helmet people here.
No, I totally disagree. Whenever I'm riding a Harley, you'll almost never see me wearing a helmet. I'm that asshole. I mean, yeah, it's true. When I'm riding my Harley or multiple Harleys, I very rarely will have a helmet on. But again, when I'm riding my Harley, I have a much larger bubble of safety around me.
Right.
Because I don't push the bike to do anything.
Yeah.
But when I'm riding other motorcycles, I will wear one of my myriad helmets. But I am a guy who does believe that my use of helmets is completely bogus and it's situationally inappropriate.
Okay.
That's me.
That's fine.
But again, I believe in the state of Ohio. I believe in our law that we have a right to choose whether or not we wear a helmet.
Sure.
And that's fucking cool until somebody else is paying my medical bills, I guess.
Right. Well, that's what it gets to. But
so, if my health insurance is out and I got a tube going in my mouth, you're welcome to pull the tube out.
Right. I think at that point,
before I be a burden on you.
Right.
That's it.
Did he have a helmet? Yes. Okay. Keep him hooked up.
Keep him hooked up. Yeah. That's it.
But so helmet laws vary from state to state, and Alabama has taken it to a new level, and they have introduced Senate Bill 357, which requires reflective helmets. But the problem is
on your head.
On your head.
Okay.
The problem is that they don't have any way to define how much reflectivity makes the helmet legal, And a helmet that is DOT approved, Snell approved, and EAC approved is not approved according to this bill.
It's not flashy.
It falls upon this one dude in Congress to determine whether or not your helmet.
In Alabama Congress?
Yeah.
Can we call him the helmet czar?
Exactly.
I want to call this guy the helmet czar so bad.
In this article, they literally show like the safety stuff.
Safety tape. They put it on the back of 18
if I
wheelers.
take all of this and just wrap it completely around my head in my helmet, that still might not be legal because it's not on the list of approved reflective helmets from.
What you don't know is that you need 37 pieces of flare, reflective flare, on the helmet to be approved. Are you not a team player? You don't want to have your 37 pieces of flare?
No, but here's the thing. I understand where they're coming from, and I'm not even opposed to having maybe saying like helmet should have a brake light or whatever, right? Like it's kind of time, you know, but undefinable limits to it or anything like that, or any amount of time to apply it to existing products.
Did they have a helmet law before this?
I don't know.
Ooh, that's a good question.
The simplest thing that would be all they'd have to do is come out with a state spot, like, okay, design a sticker that is made out of reflective material.
Oh, that makes a helmet.
And that is the sticker that must be on every helmet.
And just,
You must stick this sticker to the back of your helmet. And that will be enough reflective.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying that dealers in Alabama are saying, like, look, dude, I have fucking 890 helmets in my inventory, and obviously they were made before this law.
Yeah, you can't sell them anymore.
The state should have to just provide piles of stickers to anybody who wants stickers.
But it's fucking lunacy. I mean, like the think that they can imply this in like a year or two. I could say like I could see this coming in and saying 10 years down the line we'd like to move toward this. In 5 years we'd like to have the sticker.
Okay. Yeah.
And within a year we'd like to see more reflective.
You know what would be even more effective? If they just gave a bunch of those stickers out everywhere, at every motorcycle rally, every little thing.
And they had skulls on them.
And if it had any kind of cool thing, everybody would want one of those stickers and would slap it on the back of their helmet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring up a few things that are also illegal in Alabama.
Okay.
So now that you've said that virtually every helmet ever made by anybody is illegal in Alabama.
Yes, sir.
It is illegal in Alabama to throw salt on the railroad tracks.
Oh,
Salt.
dude, that's my hobby. I do that every fucking Sunday, man.
It is illegal to dress up as a priest on Halloween. Look it up. It's fucking real. I just found it.
Because you're around a lot of kids?
Do you know what is legal in Alabama?
Sodomy with young children?
Marrying your sister.
Oh. that's
Incestuous marriages are considered legitimate.
Boo.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what?
Doesn't help me.
Do you know what is illegal in Alabama?
What?
Driving a vehicle while wearing a blindfold.
Wow.
They had to make a law for that. Did you
my
know that
bear.
it is illegal in Alabama to have an ice cream cone in your back pocket?
Sweet home Alabama.
So this is the same state that said it's illegal to have a motorcycle helmet that doesn't have exactly 37 pieces of flare on it. In Mobile, it's illegal to spit or throw fruit skins down the sidewalk. In Mobile, it's illegal to throw confetti or spray silly string.
Oh.
So what I can tell you about Alabama is one more stupid law
It's not
actually isn't a news story. That's not a news story. Yeah, no. Alabama was way out in front of us on that one. Yeah, way to go, Alabama. Yet another stupid fucking law.
You know, I'm kind of bummed though because I like to keep a second ice cream cone in my pocket.
In my back pocket.
Just in case.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out how that became illegal.
Well, and more importantly,
Was it like, like prostitutes would that was their sign that they were available. They walk around with an ice cream cone, but it melts. How's that
You
going
have
to
to
work?
drip
I mean,
down to your cheeks or something, right? Like, you know.
I don't understand how this works.
you guys-
how does this could possibly be
you guys
illegal?
have no idea how much work it took to change a law in the state of Ohio so that we could park motor scooters under 150 cc's on the sidewalk.
Except for it doesn't work, and I'm still fighting 2 tickets from 2.5 years ago.
One, it's because cops are slow to pick up on things like laws. Okay. It's just, it takes a while for people to know about that shit.
The best response I got, though, I went to the Cleveland Heights Police Department because my wife was riding her Metropolitan and parking it.
Yeah.
And she has pictures where they had construction and they had the giant cement barriers pulled up next to the sidewalk.
Sure. They were blocking the sidewalk.
Well, no, like in the same way, with the traffic of the sidewalk. And so she had put her scooter on the very inside against the cement so that it was completely out of the way.
Okay.
And she somehow took a picture and like just kept it, whatever. And so we got a ticket one day and I was like, well, no, you're allowed to do that. Right. So I went and said, okay, we'll talk about whatever. Then she got a ticket the following week. I went back. Right. The cops are like, I agree with you, and I do believe that that's the law, but this is above my pay grade. So then I had to go to the chief, and I got through, and it took me like 15 times to call, and I finally got through to the chief. And she's like, I need to look into this because there are some laws that we just don't do here in the city.
Well, there you go.
So I was like, excuse me. I'm like, so it's a state law? She goes, we don't have to follow state laws. So if the municipality in this area decides to not follow the law...
Can I get a list of the laws they don't follow?
Yeah.
I think they should publish that on the sign that says, welcome to Cleveland Heights.
Right.
We don't follow these laws.
But can't Cleveland Heights could write it in their revised code, in their ordinances, that you're not allowed to park on the sidewalk.
But they'd have to post it,
But
right?
they would have to be an ordinance to say, no, nothing's allowed to be parked on our sidewalks.
Right.
You got it.
Well, it's been 2.5 years, and I never paid the tickets, and I gave up going back to it, and they seem to have disappeared.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from them. I mean, we haven't tried to renew her driver's license either. So
You're driving home tonight, and you get pulled over, and you get arrested and thrown in jail because you parked a Vespa.
right.
Metropolitan on the fucking sidewalk.
Yeah, exactly.
You come out swinging.
Yeah,
That's exactly it.
And then I'm dead
Right.
You'll never
And
take
then-
me alive, pigs.
because of the colors of my skin.
But the point being, the multiple colors of your skin. But that's what I'm saying is like when you think about like how hard it is to get a law passed and what it took to get that law passed that said you're allowed to park on the sidewalk, that took years, right? Fucking years. And for them to say, okay, well in Alabama, there might gonna be a law.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
I'm just saying. I just report the news.
Oh no, I get it, dude. I totally get it. But you know, that's one of those things. Oh, there's a beer. Hey.
All right.
So, but that's pretty funny.
Cheers.
And again, helmet laws are just a really, really funny thing. I mean, that's just helmet laws in general. The fact that they vary state to state is a riot because it's like, I'm going to be riding this motorcycle across 5 different state lines today. Hold on, wait a second. Should we check with the law badger? You know, like quick, bust out the law badger.
Right.
We drove across this line. So now some things are legal and some things aren't legal.
Well,
I used to travel in Europe and it was the same way.
There's the GPS thing called curvature or curves, or it's curvier or something. It's from Germany, but it's for everywhere. And it's a GPS application you can put on your phone, and it's made to find the best roads for motorcycles, etc. But I just read it a couple months ago that they added a feature which tells you as you enter a state what the helmet laws are.
That's a good idea.
So
there are 19 laws that have 19 states that have what they call universal helmet laws. So that's one of those things. A universal helmet law. Anybody riding or operating a motorcycle must wear protective headgear. So that's it. There you go.
So if you had to choose between the laws from here and the laws from California, where it's inverted, I mean, you have to wear a helmet over there, but you can lane split. Oh, which one would you pick? Would you prefer California ones or you prefer the Ohio ones?
But, you know, here's the thing is in Ohio, you very rarely ever actually need to lane split. Realistically.
True. Traffic is not as shitty in California.
Not as shitty. So I guess if we had the shitty traffic that California had, I would want the helmet and the lane splitting because they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's true.
And I wear a helmet 99% of the time, so it doesn't change my life at all.
If lane splitting was legal in Ohio, I still wouldn't do it because there's so many chuckleheads here. That would just be like, open their door. Like my boss was like, if I see a helmet, I'm going to fucking open my door and fucking let them slam right in my fucking door because I fucking hate motorcycles.
There you go.
Like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Well, and also if you're driving home, like I was commuting until it's fucking had third winter.
Right.
I was commuting to work every day. And if you actually pay attention to cars, there's so many people on their phones and shit that there's no way I'd lane split. You can't even drive in your lane without getting hit besides going
swerving everywhere.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Yeah.
It's fucking freaky, man.
And that's, I mean, as far as...
I feel like if you really want a lane split, just go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Well, here's more of swerving than actually lane splitting.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what. And Phil,
that's the difference.
And Phil has a really good point. Like when you get to like places like Los Angeles and things like that, they have those signs that are like, "You're 9 miles out, but you're 49 minutes from downtown."
Yes, exactly.
In Cleveland, they put up the signs with their waste of money. They're like, "You're 10 miles out and 37 seconds away from downtown."
Exactly.
No, in traffic in San Diego, like every single day that I had to go inland, I was dead stop in the freeway.
Right.
Like not moving at all.
Absolutely.
Right.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
If you don't have AC out there, you might die.
Oh, yeah,
in
you're
your
fucked.
car. Yeah.
Right. And there are good reasons for lane splitting, and it does make sense.
And that's one of them.
Yeah. And that is definitely fucking one of them. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal. Zero has launched a new limited edition DSR. So it is a DSR to celebrate their 15th anniversary. Zero's having their 15th anniversary.
That's crazy.
That little startup company that nobody ever heard of that just started last week apparently has been doing this for 15 fucking years. In honor of Earth Day, they have launched a brand new limited edition DSR model. So that's what I think is really cool. And you see the one that we have up on our lift right there, which is, I think they call that color Sequoia, in the spirit of Scotts Valley and, the Redwood Forest and all that stuff, Gulf Stream waters, Shenandoah. Yep. Anyway, but these special limited edition DSRs come in 5 nature-inspired colors. The new colors are green, which it is green. I assure you, it's green. Mojave, which is a brown-gray color. Orange, snow, which is white, and volcano, which is black. So less than 100 specially painted machines will be produced. Each special limited edition model gets its power from Zero's Z-Force 75.7 or 75.7 electric motor, which is capable of 116 foot-pounds of torque.
Dude, if they were super cool, snow would have been yellow and they'd had a little dog mascot.
There would have been one dog print. And it would have been yellow snow. Yeah. Yes, I totally agree. So yeah, there's an orange. There's all the different colors are represented. There's 5 custom colors. It's not big news. It's mostly just okay. That's great. We wanted to get some news this week, so it's our 15th birthday, and now we got some news.
I said that a while back on I forget what it was podcast number 253.
I'm sure it was
that maybe Zero should try to make some cool body work and maybe put some pinstripes on something.
Well, we had a customer this week that bought a Zero S, which is the base model street bike with a 7.2 battery and a giant storage locker that holds 32 beers. We tested. That bike from the factory holds 32 normal 12-ounce American beers. But here's the crazy thing. He said he didn't like the blue color because it comes in like kind of a slate blue color. And he said he didn't like that. So I was able to just go to Zero's website and order an entire kit of bodywork for him. I wonder what it would cost to paint a motorcycle a different color. Steve, do you have any insight on that?
I do, and it's not going to be what you're ever saying.
So it turns out for under $600, you can change the color of the Zero from the color it comes in to any of the colors they've ever had in their past in 15 years of building Zeros.
The problem.
So for under $600, but that comes with all the decals too.
Yeah, and the problem is that when it comes to auto paint, like they sell it in 4 ounces for like $24,
right?
8 ounces for $38. Or a fucking pint for like $42.
Right.
So like you're almost stupid not to buy a pint. But just so if you want to have a 3 or 4 color paint job in paint, you're looking at $250 fucking dollars just for the paint.
Right.
And clear coat. And whatever else.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I agree. And that's where having this customer said, I want to do that. And in the Zero community, a lot of people do swap bodywork because all Zeros, whether it's a Zero S, an S, an SR, DSR, whatever, all of those S-frame bikes all share bodywork. So you can go back in time like 7 years and be like, John's got a gray one, I got a red one, let's swap. And, as long as we're willing to mutually agree upon the labor involved, we can have different colored bikes. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I thought that was kind of funny.
So you were talking about a project on the police bike. Did that ever get finished?
We didn't do it yet. We were very busy doing other things like uncrating 18 bikes today.
Yeah, there's a lot of bikes in here. Yeah. One of them I want to take home, but besides
we're going to talk about that. So I know you were waiting. I know you're patiently standing by, biding your time.
I'm going to get up and stretch my legs and walk over and take a look at it while you're talking.
You should go over and take a look at it for sure.
It's way cool because it's only 500 cc's, but it has
the one that smells mysteriously like Steve's crotch.
And it has 35 more horsepower than a Versys, which is just insane.
Well, no, actually, though, since we're talking about it, it does have 46 horsepower.
Right, which is right in line with the Versys.
Right, it is, and it has a 5 5.25 gas tank, 5.25 galliones. So the bike we're talking about is the Benelli, and it's called the TRK. So it's the TRK.
Not the Leoncino?
We're going to talk about that too, but yeah, it might not be as exciting, but
502X. I've been following
TRK
this bike.
502X. And the TRK 502X is I have not made it any fucking, there's been no doubt to anybody who listens to this podcast that I am not a big fan of Starbucks cruisers. Right. I do not like big ass. The BMW GS series of bikes has had no appeal to me since there was air in the heads. Right. So when they've gone to the oil in the heads, I really haven't had any appeal to GSs at all because they've just been a way to get celebrities many, many miles in front of a camera truck, right?
Right.
And I'm teasing because I love the guys when they did the long way down.
Well, no,
the long way around.
They're comfortable bikes, and like as long as you don't give a shit about what people think about you or you're not trying to do anything, then the bike can fit you. Like my Super Tenere was like it was set up to go around the world.
Yeah,
I was riding it on the pavement, but it was a comfortable fucking bike.
Very comfortable.
So
bike.
that's This is kind of the intermediate version of that because it's.
We ride scooters. Do you think we give a fuck what people think about us? Come on. Well, at least I'm not in this crowd.
Right. No. Yeah. There's nothing.
Look. We have a very, very powerful don't give a fuckometer.
Yeah, right.
That is the thing about guys who ride scooters and have been riding scooters for a long time. Ages ago, somebody's like, get a real bike, fag. And I was like, I got off the bike and I beat him to death with my purse. And so we have been on the redheaded stepchild receiving end of every goddamn joke ever because we ride Vespas or Lambrettas or whatever.
And the only people that can make fun of you are the people that have not been up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday by themselves on some random middle of nowhere road on whatever fucking thing you're riding. That's just the perfect morning.
Or pulling a block long wheelie on a savagely angry two-stroke with a case of beer on the floorboards and at that point, a naked girl on the back.
Right. And at that point,
that's
nothing
riding
that
a scooter is.
And anything that anybody says has no relevance to you whatsoever because you're like, yeah, fuck you. I did that.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm going to do it again next month.
And nobody saw me do it, and I didn't have to tell anybody about it or post to Instagram. I just did.
I didn't have to have a rocker patch. I didn't have to take some secret oath and get a road name.
Oh, is that a new leather?
Is that a new leather?
That's nice.
Yeah, that's it. And that is that a parka or is that a Sears parka? Right. So is that a real parka or a Sears parka? But not joking. So today was the first day that we got to uncrate a Benelli TRK 502X, and I got into Benellis backwards. So I got into Benellis because I wanted SSR mini bikes. I'm not fucking around, guys. I'm dead serious. I really, really wanted the absolute finest in slightly disposable Chinese mini bike.
Right.
So I wanted to have a great pit bike, not too serious about jumping things, mini bike experience, but I wanted to share it with my customers. And we looked around and the SSRs came by far the best reviewed by both dealers and customers. And YouTube, which is brutal about everything. Honestly, you could come up with like new. It's brand new. We just introduced it. It's called a koala bear. And YouTube would be like, it sucks. It's the worst thing ever. I hated it. It raped my mother, whatever.
If it came in pink and blue, I'd be more into it.
But, right. But they really failed. They really let me down.
Yeah.
But YouTube, all of the fucking people like us that have a YouTube channel have all agreed that this bike is value for money, right?
Well, and it didn't hurt that you got them in and we all beat the shit out of one and then I bought one and beat the shit out of it and it's still running and we're like, wow, these are good bikes.
That was, so we did the SSR thing, but then the Benelli thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Benelli thing was more like, you know what I think I'm going to do? I was personally pretty sick of dicking around with Groms.
Right.
So to me, I could not understand the allure, the attraction, and this amazing grip that the Grom had on big chubby guys. Like I couldn't get it. It made no fucking sense to me because I'd sit on a Grom and I'd be like, this blows just sitting here. Yeah. How much is going to blow going 40?
But it doesn't for some reason.
But then I saw myself in a reflection in a mirror when I drove past a store and I saw my reflection riding a Grom, and I was like, that asshole stole a kid's bike. And I was like, okay, I can't ride a Grom anymore. But then I saw the Benelli TNT 135, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fucking badass. And the handlebars were where they're supposed to be, and the seat was where it was supposed to be.
I can't explain why having a smaller bike just makes it feel safer and better, even though it shouldn't. Because you're like, especially when you're on roads where people are going 55 and you're going But there's something about, same with dirt bikes. That's why we almost murder ourselves every fucking weekend. Like, there's just something about being able to completely reach the ground, sit and like manhandle this 260 pound thing that gives you confidence that you shouldn't have. I think that's what makes them fun.
I think it's the same reason really, really big guys end up with really tiny girls. Could be. But I digress. Going back to
I was so excited about the Grom until I rode it.
Exactly.
Like, oh, the Grom, this ought to be super cool. And then I rode it, and I tried to do a wheelie, and I couldn't really do much. I couldn't do a wheelie. And then I tried. And I rode it, and I was like, this is 45 mile an hour, and it doesn't seem like it's got a whole lot more.
Well, what's funny is the monkey treated me the same way. So I rode the monkey, and when I was very excited about the monkey. I was like, I'll probably buy one of those. And then I rode it, and I was like, well, they've managed to surgically take the fun out of this. And
perfect bike for Steve.
Well, we used to say all the time, we would say Bajaj, the company Bajaj, had figured out a way to take the fun out of a vintage scooter. They made it a 4-stroke. So they took a perfectly good 2-stroke bike that the world had agreed upon was a good idea. But because it was Indian, you couldn't cut the air anymore with a fucking machete. They had to make it 4-stroke. And we all got these 4-strokes and we all rode them and we went, wow, can you wheelie it? Yeah, kind of, maybe a little, and that's only because the motor's in the back. I could kind of maybe wheelie it. Meanwhile, a Vespa is just kind of like, you don't ever hand somebody the keys to an old Vespa because you're like, oh, they're going to fucking kill themselves in 9 seconds. Yeah. So they took the fun out of it. Well, the Grom and the monkey kind of surgically removed the fun for me. But I would ride the Super Cub and I was like, oh, look at me, I'm dapper, right? It was the right color. It was very classic. So the Super Cub was the perfect representation of what it was.
You don't even expect to wheelie the Super Cub. You don't expect the Super Cub to go 60 mile an hour. You don't expect it.
It's an amazing tribute to what the Cub always was. So the Super Cub is this amazing tribute. The Grom and the monkey are just 2 different Groms.
Yeah.
There's the chonky Grom and the not so chonky Grom.
If I would do anything to the monkey, maybe the Grom, I'd give it a super low first.
Yeah. Just
that way, if you had a low first gear, you could just be like,
just to only do wheelies with. Yeah. And that was the thing is the day that I took the first TNT 135 out of the crate, as soon as I put a battery in it, I was in the parking lot doing 100 wheelies for like an hour and a half. And I was like, this is joyful. It's putting a smile on my face. I'm doing a wheelie and a stoppie in 12 feet. It's so much fun.
And I mean, I've heard Groms and they're kind of loud.
Yeah.
But when you take the fucking catalytic converter off of that bike, it's fucking loud.
Yeah, TNT with no pipe, with no factory included catalytic converter is a very loud machine.
I've never put a baffle in one of my exhausts
voluntarily
until that bike. Yeah, exactly. I had to.
Yes.
I remember I was going around the block and I was just hammering it with this. Like I had the Steady Garage, I still have it, the Steady Garage header, which takes out the fucking catalytic converter and still gives you your bung for your O2 sensor.
Yep.
And then I had it going straight into the original exhaust pipe with just this piece of space shuttle that I put in between the two, right? And when I passed a car, the reflections coming off the car through my helmet were so loud that I was like, I can't ride this like this. Like it pierced my ears inside my helmet passing a car. And I'm like, I can't imagine what this is doing to the fucking public. And I'm only doing 47 miles an hour while it's doing this, you know? So yeah, you gotta muffle it, but it's a good bike, man. There's no
so we
question.
are going to talk briefly about the TRK 502X.
Yes.
So it comes in 2 versions. It comes in a TRK 502X, and it also comes in what's the other one called? A TRK 502.
Yeah, it's not the X.
I was joking. It just doesn't have an X on it.
Yeah, right. The X makes it extraordinary.
So the 502 the 502 comes with 2 agreed upon 17-inch wheels.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
because it's a street version, right? So it's the street version of the bike.
Oh, okay.
And it's 5,999 doll hairs, right? So it's $6,000 brand new and 47 horsepower, et cetera, et cetera.
So this is in the CBR 500X market.
Boy, it sure is, isn't it? I mean, it is.
But they literally, like BMW is still like, can we sue them? I think we can sue them. I don't know. Because like it has the schnozzle. It has the whole fucking gas tank.
It does look like it.
It is all all about being a BMW.
And you don't have it has a windshield. You just don't have it on.
I don't have it mounted up yet. That's right. But it is one of those things that so the CBR 500R is $66.99. So it's, $400 more.
You want the X.
The X, right. And the X, the CB500X is $6,999.
So right in the ballpark.
So a totally naked, has nothing on it, CB500X is $69.99 before ABS, right? This is the bike. Now, we did not get I did not get a TRK 502 standard, 17-inch.
Right.
I didn't, mostly because of one thing. It looks boring to me.
Yeah,
it does not look.
When you lose the spokes, it loses something. But I think that's with even the Ducatis don't look as good without the spokes.
There's definitely some style in the spokage, and even the standard model is still a seat height of 31.5 inches.
That's what I was going to say. So it does look
as a pretty tall bike.
It's a tall bike, yeah.
But the BMW is way taller than that.
Yes.
No, not much.
Right.
I think it's right around there. Let me put it this way. On the center stand, I can't flat foot at all. Right. I'm barely tap toeing. Yep. But when I put it off and I was sitting on it, I could tiptoe. And it's basically the same as my FJ09, same as my thing. It's all in the same ballpark.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not any kind of adventure style bike like that.
Yep.
Because you want the extra ground clearance, they're not going to be on the ground.
Have to jump it. Yeah.
I mean, it's right up there in the same size as my Versys.
Yeah, I think they all are. They're all within the ballpark of each other.
That seat though is very comfortable on
Dude,
it.
I sat on it.
It's not as big as mine, but the passenger one also looks very, very comfortable.
And the peg height and everything seems
better than the
nice.
Versys. That's one thing I would like to get is drop pegs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
But that definitely
even on my FJ, they kind of moved the pegs back a little bit, and it's kind of messing me up. That's more in the traditional, like your legs are straight the fuck down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 6-speed gearbox. It's got ABS. It's got everything that you want the bike to have, and it's $6,000. That's that is what that bike is.
It probably won't be the biggest mistake you've made in your life.
I don't think it's going to be. And
to follow Hoff, though, I'd have to get some BMW Rondels and slap them on there just to fuck with people.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So amazing.
So what you got there? I got the GS500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
GS502.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, GS502X.
Really? When did they come out with that? Oh, you probably don't know about it. I'm sorry.
What, you don't know about it already?
Yeah.
It's the GS America.
The people that know about it, the important people know about it.
Right. It's exactly it.
Yeah.
Now, here's the kooky thing. So because I am me, I ordered this bike with all of you can't have a coffee shop GS, right? You cannot have a Starbucks Warrior unless you have a way to transport many aluminum boxes.
But it also makes sense because you can bring beer and things and drones and all kinds of shit with you in boxes.
The boxes that this bike came with, the boxes that are an option that you can purchase to put on the bike, which complete the overall effect of the bike.
Right.
I was shocked to find out that these boxes are not, in fact, certain motorcycles companies who shall remain nameless
COC.
have giant silver-colored boxes that are not made out of silver.
They're plastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we joked, we thought they were the boxes that the boxes came in, but they weren't. So it turns out the boxes that are over there on the ground aren't aluminium.
No, you can cook in these.
These are stainless fucking steel.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Go check them. They are not aluminium. They are actual, real. We tested them. They are proper fucking boxes. Yep. I was completely impressed with the luggage. Very rarely will I ever take something out of the box and be like, holy shit. I couldn't believe how rugged these things were. And we've got we've got Moose cases here. We've got SW Motec cases here. These cases are absolutely on par with anybody's case I've ever seen. And they come with the awesome unpickable Coke style locks to lock them to the vehicle. And so it's very, very easy to take them off the bike if you want to take them off the bike. It's fucking genius.
I've been following this bike for 3 years. It's been on my radar. I've been digging it. They finally hit the States a year or two ago because they were in Europe 4 years ago. This took forever to
get
Been a
long time. This is not a new product.
Nope. And so I finally saw it. I saw it at the IMS show a couple years ago, or at the AIM show or wherever we were at. Yeah, something like that. And I was like, okay, but they really didn't let you get up and on it. Really I didn't get to get up and put my fingers in places that you shouldn't put your fingers in. But now you got this, and I'm already trying to sell my FJ. I'm like,
yeah, you're not fucking around. You're definitely putting some moves in action on this, and it is a really interesting thing. You're talking about a $6,000 bike, so
if I were you, I might keep that FJ, but you don't need two of those Suzuki GS.
I know. I thought about that too. I know.
That's
I thought
right.
about it.
And you know what? That's just money sitting there, man.
I know.
Those GSs are like, you need to have one
That's
GS.
meat on the hoof.
Well,
is
I
meat
also
on
got. I have a buddy that needs transportation. He's a school teacher.
Okay.
And I was like, the BV would suit you really nicely.
Oh, the
for
BV
a really
would.
good price.
Yeah, and your hip's feeling better. You don't need a BV
Smoke them
anymore.
out at a really good price.
Yep. That's a good idea.
Give him a BB.
Give him a BV.
Get rid of a GS.
Yeah.
Make lots of room in your garage for a 502.
Yeah.
I know.
So we were having fun today stabbing, we haven't built it yet. I mean, these bikes, 18 bikes showed up literally today, just a couple of hours before the podcast
but you know
started.
what? I really like that you guys figured this out. And I was like, holy shit, that's a great idea. So if you've watched our build-a-thon or you've had a Chinese bike come in, you know that they come in these metal crates.
Right.
And there's fucking more bolts in the crate than there are in the fucking bike, and they're a pain in the dick.
True that.
And so I can just imagine, as a person that gets 20 of these fucking things in at one time, it becomes a situation because there's no handlebars attached, all this shit.
Right.
But the way they keep the bike safe is they attach half the crate to the fucking handlebar
Yes,
thing.
they do.
So you guys figured out if we just leave that.
There's a 18 or 22 inch piece of angle iron that holds the motorcycle by the bolts in the top of the triple.
Right.
So what we do is we just never take that off.
And you have instant handlebars.
And now once you get the wheels on, the hard part's putting the wheels on in the parking lot. That still looks like a monkey trying to fuck a coconut. And but when you see us doing it in the parking lot, it's always good fun because you see that we're sweating our ass off, and like one guy's got the side stand down, the other guy's leaning the bike at an impossible angle, and the other guy's trying to put the front wheel on without like pinching the brake in the caliper or losing flesh.
Right.
You guys work at a motorcycle shop for a week. You will learn some shit. Like,
thank you.
John's like,
How can you guys justify this $250 prep fee? Well, let me tell you.
What, I will do. Here's what we'll do. I won't charge you the prep fee, but I get to watch you build it with popcorn and a beer, and I get to harass you the whole time. Because guess what we do?
We still have to do that to Chris.
No, but anybody that bitches, they should have to watch the full bike build off.
The 2.5 hour bike build off, right? Yeah, and watch that and be like, oh, so now that you've seen that, do you still want to hang on to your money, or would you like to go behind what's curtain number 2, right? Wah, wah. Yeah, I mean, that's what this is. And no joke, I told a guy the other day, he's like, well, I want to buy the SSR 110, but I don't want to pay the $200 ship or the $200 build price.
Right. Great. Yeah, we can
and
have
I was
it sent right to your house.
Dude, look, don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah.
Show up, but here's the thing. You have to pick it up in the box. You have to put it in the back of your truck because I've already taken it off of one pallet. And my back still hurts.
Right.
So you get to do everything. But here's what I'm going to say. I will do that. You will save $200, but you have to film it. Because I want to see you so angry.
Right.
I want to see the same kind of fear that went in this room to all these people that have tools and had tools that we need in the room. If you've ever built IKEA furniture, you know that one Allen wrench that they give you, the whole job is engineered around that one Allen wrench. Right? This is not. This has 6 different types of hardware on the crate.
More importantly, it takes 1 or 2 bikes to build to figure out that the long bolts that can probably poke you in the asshole don't go here, they go here.
Right. Those are the button ones. Or if you're John's bike, they just go in sideways. John just went, oh, look, a screw goes in this way, but I don't have that screw anymore. So I'm going to put a screw in this way. Yeah.
I caught a little meat.
Dude, straight up, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Right, but I'm telling you, that dude would be very upset that $200 went to rip his hemorrhoid straight from his fucking
right off his body.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I want to read one awesome comment. They say never read the comments.
Yeah.
This is a comment from Rider Magazine.
On the
from, and I'm going to tell you this guy's name, and they printed it. This guy's name is Reverend Harry Longphallus. Look it up. It's Longfallis. So first of all, in case you're from Rider Magazine, you got played. Reverend Harry Longphallus snuck one past you. In fact, I'm going to do all my work now under the pseudonym Reverend Harry Longphallus, Esquire. And the Right Reverend Harry says, why does Ryder give coverage to Chinese bikes? Or does Ryder seriously still think Benelli is Italian? I'll only consider buying Chinese when they stop invading India, withdraw from Tibet and East Turkestan, Xinjiang. That's what it said. Renounce their bogus claim to Taiwan and stop using slave labor. Well, Reverend Harry Longphallus, I love you, and I want to follow you around for one day. I want to follow you around for one day because John and I, many, many podcasts ago, did our very best to outfit a motorcycle and a motorcyclist with just the basics you would need to survive without buying something from China.
Good luck with that.
Do you remember that? We tried so fucking hard. We had to spend $700 on a law enforcement shorty helmet to find a shorty helmet.
Yeah.
To find a shorty helmet that was made in America.
Yeah.
What company is that? I remember we looked those up a while ago.
Not showy.
It wasn't showy. No, it was an actual.
It's actually
law enforcement supplier only.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but we brought that up. Like, what helmet companies made in the USA, and that one came up.
It's not AFX.
No, but it's like Sullivan's Police Supply Company, right?
And it's such a generic helmet, but it's still like $700
It's
for a
expensive,
fucking, like,
Yeah. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And when you get into that kind of a thing, when you're getting into things that are, the store Cycle Gear cannot exist without China.
Cycle Gear is basically Harbor Freight for motorcycles.
Yes, again, that's my T-shirt. I'm gonna fucking make that T-shirt.
Yeah.
Cycle Gear, Harbor Freight for motorcycle people.
Right.
And it serves the exact same purpose. It's when you need some tools for your motorcycle, but you don't need them for a long time. Right. It's when you need motorcycle gloves, but you're probably going to grow out of them anyway.
And that's the thing is, a lot of these people, like, you're getting a tool that you use once a year for one bike. So it lasts you 20 years, and you're like, this thing was fucking great.
Let's be honest. Every time I see somebody come into my shop wearing a jacket that says Built on it, right? First of all, there is a company called Built Well. And you see which word they left off of that jacket, okay? So when somebody comes in wearing a jacket or a helmet or a pair of gloves that says Built on it, then what do I know? They probably don't ride a whole lot.
Right.
And it's the same Harbor Freight thing. If you come at me with a pair of Harbor Freight vice grips, I know you probably don't vice grip a lot. Right. If you come at me with a Harbor Freight, if you come at me with one of these that's made to Harbor Freight, and I see your Harbor Freight branded Gerber multiplier fake imitation thing, I'm going to think you probably don't whip that out very much. But if for limited use applications, some of this Chinesium is okay.
Yep.
But you're not going to be able to... I'm not going to be able to, all my Motion Pro shit that I've got, which is probably made in China, right?
but they have QC.
No, that's what I was going to say.
But they've got QC, right?
I hate, everything being made in China too, but am I going to go out and start up a company that makes good quality, cheap American stuff?
Thank you. Yeah,
How?
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't do it.
In the 60s, everyone hated stuff that was made in Japan.
The other thing is, I believe in capitalism, so survival of the fittest. So... unless you can outdo them.
The motorcycle company that was Sear, S-E-E-R. Again, not the first name that comes to your mind when you think of motorcycle helmets, honestly. And what's funny is because the duck bill on the Sear helmet still looks like a total fucking like made by your mom afterthought.
So what do Harley guys, like the ones that do wear helmets, what do they wear? Like, what is acceptable Harley helmet?
Oh, we have people come into our shop all the time. Do you know what they want to buy?
What?
The cheapest, smallest skid lid they can get.
Huh.
That's what they want to buy. So, what they want to buy is this helmet worn under protest. That's what they want to buy.
Okay.
Or honestly, the people that do want to buy a helmet because they feel like they want to protect something will buy the Bell Pit Boss. And the Bell Pit Boss, we sell a ton of them. They're a shorty helmet. They've got the adjustable thing in the back, the ratchet thing in the back, like a good quality welding helmet does, or a good quality hard hat.
Yep.
They've got that in the back. They got the flip down sunglasses. It's a really fucking good helmet for, like $120.
All right.
So they will buy the Bell Pit Boss. It comes in any shade of black that you want. It comes in black, flat black, and not so flat black. Because guess who they're marketing that helmet to?
Yeah.
The Sons of Atrophy. Like those are the people who want to wear that helmet. But we sell a shit ton of them. And I'm happy doing it because it's a good helmet. We do not sell. Do you know what the number one requested helmet here at my shop is that we don't carry?
A chrome Baldero or whatever the fuck
a chrome Nazi helmet.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Everybody that comes in wants a fucking goddamn, yo man, you got them Nazi helmets? Are you shitting me right now? Are you like you're busting my balls, right? There's a camera somewhere, right? Because you want a Nazi helmet? Yeah, man, want them like that Nazi helmet. oh no, you're gonna put me on the news or something, right? Like there's gonna be a picture of me handing you a Nazi helmet going, you need this.
You're like, I need to hear a blue enchilada before I open that door.
Yeah, that is exactly right. There's no way in hell I'm gonna participate in the rest of this conversation. And that's what they want. They like everybody wants. So the guy that I sold your old Husqvarna to, the Husqvarna 610, it is a bad motherfucking bike. It is born again hard. That's a serious motorcycle. Yeah. Do you know the guy who bought it is maybe 5'4"?
Oh, dude, how's he gonna reach the floor?
He has a little milk crate he throws down every time he has to stop. No, we squatted the suspension out of that thing. Wow. We let every molecule of nitrogen out of that suspension. We just introduced that bike to weird forms of gravity, and he has to get off of it while it's riding and then put the kickstand down.
I've seen little people riding bikes and they had to jump down at stoplight.
So. That's what I was just going to say. Like midget riding a full-size CBR 600.
You saw that one.
They'll jump off the bike. They'll be on like one leg and then they jump on it.
Yeah. And this dude comes in the shop. He buys the bike. I kick in the GPS because I'm like, are you gonna ride this bike? Are you gonna ride it on the roads? You're gonna ride it on the trails? Oh, I'm gonna do all that shit. I'm like, okay, great, cool, kick ass.
There you go.
And then here's the GPS. It's loaded with maps already. It's amazing. You're ready to go do the Transamerica Trail.
It's ready to go.
Go have fun.
I
showed him how to use everything. I showed him how the dial-a-jet worked for the carburetor. I showed him the second unnecessary choke.
Yeah.
Why does the bike have two chokes? It has two chokes.
I don't know. And it also has 15 fucking petcocks.
At least 7 petcocks to reach every nook and cranny of the gas tank.
True.
Anywho, so I see him down on the road. He asked me about helmets. I show him our supply of helmets, which are all good helmets.
Yeah.
And we have helmets from $69 to $400. I see him on the road. Do you know what he's wearing?
A headband?
A purple chrome Nazi helmet. A purple chrome Nazi helmet. Now, we have a good friend named Josh D, who has a purple chrome Nazi helmet.
Yep.
And he has capped it off with a nice pink butt plug right in the top, just like the World War I guys would have done. But instead of a pickle spear, it's a butt plug. And it's pink, and it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? He lives up to it. Yeah. And he can jump a go-kart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I forgot
he can. So he can jump a go-kart. We've seen it happen. But the point being that, like, he's secure with himself.
Yeah.
He's a roller derby ref. Like, he's one of our friends. But this guy was wearing the purple mirrored chrome Nazi helmet on a Husqvarna. And somewhere right now, there's some, Scandinavian person going, was smakes det den here? They don't get the joke. They don't know, but he wants that helmet. So yellow motorcycle, purple helmet. Go figure.
Good for him.
Good for him. Yeah, that's exactly. And all of our British listeners are laughing at the
but
purple
we're gonna
helmet
have
joke.
to once you get this.
Look at me.
That's right.
Once you get this thing prepped, we'll have to do a ride. And
oh yeah, look, nothing can fucking darken our door without us giving some sort of an opinion on it, good, bad, or
well, as long as Nick's not here, it won't be broken.
Well, as long as we can keep Nick from driving it, it won't punch a TRK, a TRK sized hole in the side of his car, right? That's fair. Right. I totally agree with that. That's badass. Any other topics? I got some good ones. So,
well, I mean, Oscar, have you responded to any of the comments on the Oscar the Fixer?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That was good. I think a lot of people that we have not seen before have jumped on and
the Moto stories with Unkie Phil and Oscar has just been dropped, and not since the ravages of alcohol affecting John McElfresh in the video where Steve turned John into a pirate, which is awesome. Still one of my favorite pictures of John ever.
Yeah,
we're gonna make him put on eyeliner anywhere he goes from now on. His eyes are so like.
It looks really good.
I airbrushed that shit in with
the white walls. You did the white walls, didn't you?
Yeah, he put the white walls on the deuce and a half too, right? So no shit, we got to have the whole. I mean, and not just. It's nice because it's not a 10-minute Moto stories.
No,
we just let Oscar rip because. But it did pull all of our friends from Tijuana, all of our friends from San Diego. It pulled them all out of the woodwork.
Yeah, it's
a lot of fun.
It's been good, man. If you guys haven't checked out the
new one,
or just any of them in the comments. I love reading the comments. Man.
Yeah, this is one of the time when you're like, don't ever read the comments. And I'm like, no, we're reading the comments.
That's the whole thing.
Well, the thing is that most of the stories, people are like, this can't be fucking true.
Right.
And they're like, there's like, this guy doesn't exist. And then the guy that Phil called out's like, fuck you, Phil. That was the greatest day of my life. And yes, that did happen. And it's like right underneath.
And the part of the story about the guy that actually ate shit and then just kind of tore his face off. Yep. Yeah. You didn't put the video, and actually
I didn't see the video. Where's the video?
It's in the. Oh man,
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah. So I had it on the USB, but someone tagged it on the comments, not on the YouTube video. So I posted it on my Facebook just that it came up, and so it's like, oh, here's the video. The guy eating shit. I was like,
missed it. I'm sorry, man. I would have fucking put it in there. Damn.
And the video of this guy crashing is like, I mean. It's like the Hindenburg meets the Zapruder film. Yeah.
Well, just the aftermath of him with his face. Yeah. Everything's all wrapped up and he's missing body parts. And
we'll watch it here after the podcast.
The video of this guy eating shit is one of those crashes where you're like, because remember, I was pulling back into the parking lot and just got the bike up on the center stand in a gravel parking lot, just as I heard this like noise, and I looked up and I saw the bike was in the air upside down. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because I had just seen Pistola Pete. So Pistola Pete, our buddy, had just gone past me where I was driving at like 70 miles an hour on gravel on a borrowed small frame. I think it was Robots.
I think it's, I think so.
The dude just went shooting past me at Mach 1. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this parking lot? And I didn't know that it was drag races. I didn't know that it was like 8th mile drags. But then when I saw the dude's bike blow up, and then I realized there was a person on the bike, and it was that military bike that was like, it was a replica of the bazooka, the Vespa ACMA with, the Vespa Cannon, thing. It was a replica of that bike, but it was just crumpled.
It was fucked up.
Oh, it was so fucked up.
That's the one that was in the trailer with the big hole.
Yes, with the giant hole in it.
So it looked like the bazooka.
That's where the bazooka used to be. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
He high-sided it, low-sided it. And then
he insided it.
And then then he ate shit and the bike flew in the air and it fucking woof.
Yeah. So not long ago, we had a customer call the shop and she was just adamant. She was so serious and she was dead serious. She was like, I need to buy a moped. Now that happens all the time. People think that, Macklemore's not the only one who thinks that's a moped, right?
Would it kill you to carry a Tomos?
You got a moped, man. All right. So anyway, I was like, ma'am, you are aware that mopeds, 49 cc's, less than 1 horsepower, got pedals. It's a moped, right? We don't carry them. Tomos is the last company I know making them. Maybe they still do. Maybe they don't. I don't know. They became irrelevant to me because even then they were $1,600, $1,700. They were cantankerous as fuck. Like getting a moped started is like harder than finding the G spot.
It'll make you sweat, dude.
On a gorilla. It's like, it is seriously, getting a moped to start takes a 14-year-old. It takes a 14-year-old with that level of, dedication to say, I'm going to walk to soccer practice or I'm going to get this started.
Right.
Now, for any adult, the amount of pedaling it takes to get a moped started would give you a heart attack. We would just say, fuck it. And if you've ever ridden a moped more than 3 feet using the pedals, you'd know that that's not an option.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Because those pedals are geared at like negative 400 to 1.
I was about to say,
it's a one gear. Yeah, it's
1-to-1. It's
not even 1-to-1.
Right.
Come on. I mean, seriously. So let's just call mopeds what they are. They're an indignity best visited upon young people. Right.
But now you have electric bicycles, so there's just no
Why would
need.
you want a moped? Guess what, guys? Available in the United States for a very, very limited time. The Laser 6. That's right, friends. The moped is back. The Laser 6 for your viewing pleasure. Redesigned style, high and low speed, electric and pedal start, 17-inch wheels. Legal moped for many states.
It's a bobber?
For the price of $1,600. And it's got 17-inch wheels, so it does kind of look like a motorcycle. It's got a bobber-looking seat, right? Yeah. All those things.
Is it using a typical 2-bolt Honda motor?
It is. It sure is.
You could definitely slap.
You could definitely sneak a Piranha motor in there.
Yeah.
Sure, if you wanted to. But here's something else. I would like to tell you that the people that I order these from wrote this very, very good email to go along with it. very attractive to the dealers, making sure the dealer knows we got your back. We want you to have a good time with us. We're going to answer all your questions and support you within an inch of your life. Hi, I am resending the attached bulletin again and including the newest vehicle order form. Please use this form going forward to submit your orders. Added is the Laser 6. Yes, it has pedals. No, I don't know if they're legal in your state. Yes, you may need a new addendum to sell these. Did you ever sell the old Laser 5? Yes, you need to place them on order now and get them on the back order waiting list. Please use the attached order form. I love that. Yes, it has pedals. No, I don't know if they're legal in your state. So that's the level of, knowledge about these things. So there's a moped out there in the world. That's right. If you're 14 years old and you're listening to this podcast from your juvenile jail cell, you can contact your mom or dad or caretaker or whoever, and you can steal $1,600 from their wallet, contact somebody other than me, and you could probably order this thing in. Make sure to tell them you heard it on Cleveland Moto, and it's called the Laser 6.
So with these rules, like if I had
we're going to do this?
a mini bike with a 212 fucking thing on it,
I want to do this.
and
man.
I slap pedals
wanna
on
do
it,
this.
is that a moped?
It's only a moped if
No, I don't know if they're legal in your state.
well, in Ohio, it's only a moped if it's on the list of approved mopeds
Right.
at your DMV.
I will tell you what the
I'm pretty
prerequisites are.
sure that the DMV has not added that one because
right.
that list has probably not changed in
Oh,
20 years.
fucking
Is this a Magnum 2 or a Pook?
Is this a Benelli? Right. Oh, yeah, it is a Benelli. You're right. Go ahead. It's a fucking Benelli moped. Sure, put it on the list. I checked. They're on the list. Yeah. Benellis are. Anyway, so here's the thing. In Ohio, first things first, 49 cc's. Well, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Okay, check. Second, must only carry one person.
Yep.
Fair enough. That's pretty
Bobber,
easy.
yeah.
Must have pedals as a means of propulsion.
Yep.
Not the primary means, but they must be functioning pedals. You can't just stick pedals on the side of something and call it pedals.
It's not a Kickstarter. It has to. Yeah.
Right. It has to have pedals as a means of propulsion. This last one sucks real bad. Oscar knows this one. 25 miles an hour or less.
Yeah.
I thought it was 20.
It used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, they changed it to 25.
Oh, okay.
So they changed it to 25 or less.
Yeah, no problem. I can
because what's
barely do
street?
15.
And less than 1 horsepower.
Yeah.
So Oscar's got a moped.
Yeah.
And Oscar's complies with all of those rules.
Oh, yeah. I can barely do 15 on a downsled and the wind blowing behind me, dude. If I'm going uphill, I'm like 9 on a good day.
There were a lot of mopeds sold in Ohio that did comply with all the rules that made sense and were the right thing that they were supposed to be. And that's the definition of
But let's
awful.
go back. So like my Tomos 2-speed that I had for all 14 and 15 years.
It would go
of my
like
life.
45 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All day long.
My Puch Magnum Mark II would go 50 when I'm not riding it, when like
right.
appropriate
So how
size
did
human's riding
that get legal?
It wasn't legal.
Just throw a kid on that
Again,
bitch.
hold on. I'm going to refer you back to line number 3. No, I don't know if they're legal in your state.
Yeah.
Right? That's called CYA. The man's covering his ass right there. So nobody can ever say that this manufacturer promised that they were legal in my state.
Right.
Because who knows what the fuck they get up to in, Wisconsin-Appalachia or
So
whatever. Yeah.
basically what you're saying is that nobody cared enough to even research the mopeds back then. They were just like, fuck it, 14-year-old kids can ride a moped.
Look, I think every fucking cop that was out there in the world was just like,
Didn't give a shit.
fuck it, I'm pulling him. And then it was just like, well, why'd you write him a ticket? Why'd you write Johnny a ticket? My son's a good kid. He doesn't. Oh, he was going over 50 miles an hour on this thing, and now he's going. Yeah, because it's always fucking ambiguous. I mean, honestly, nobody's gonna be like, well, I checked the bore and stroke on his vehicle, and it was actually 53 cc's. No cop in the fucking world is doing that shit. No cop's gonna go, it was more than 1 horsepower. Right. The cop's gonna do what a cop's gonna do. He's gonna go, yeah, I don't want to fuck with that kid. Yeah.
Wait, he's black?
Oh,
Too soon, man. Too soon.
oh, Hollywood Holt. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
It doesn't take anything to hang paper on somebody.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't stick. Maybe you,
That's
okay.
right.
So you go to court and you prove that it doesn't go more than, okay.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly.
You're
right.
guilty until proven innocent.
And look, they used to take mini bikes away from us like it was their goddamn job.
Yeah.
It was like, that is your property. No, it's not. It's in the back of my police cruiser. Now say otherwise. I'd be like, fuck, I got to build another mini bike. So we just kind of got that thing. Our dad or our parents would see us walking back to the house and be like, you got your mini bike taken away again, didn't you? Yep. What are you going to do about it? Going to build another mini bike. You know, like that's what it was. That was just the game.
I built a mini bike, and anytime I got in trouble, my dad would cut the throttle cable.
My dad used to change shit from the ceiling in the garage so I could see it.
I got a kid riding a mini bike up and down my street.
Yeah.
And I was happy for him at first. And I'm like, how the fuck's he getting away with this? I'm about ready to call the cops. I mean, if I had tried to pull that ride my bike up and down the fucking street, I'd be getting fucking arrested by now.
Just got stitches, man.
I can park on my grass, but that son of a bitch next door better never park on my grass.
Motherfucker, why isn't he getting harassed by the police?
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
Like, I kind of want to go out there. I'm like, kind of want to go ride with him, but as soon as I go out there, the cops will show up.
that is exactly the way the shit goes.
How old are you, John?
2.
Oh, there you go. So I do have feedback. We have comments from our listeners. I will play them. I will report them to you right now. The first and one of my absolute favorites is Kevin. So Kevin is the guy that we met at the Portland One show. Him and his girlfriend came up to us, and they were just like, they're just fucking
He was originally
cool.
from Cleveland. And
He's from Kansas.
Oh, wait, wrong Kevin.
Yeah, super fucking cool kid. Very, very cool, and has been excellent. He's a Kansas City kind of guy, right? And he's been playing along with us on the podcast for goddamn ages.
Sorry, Kevin.
I know, right? I mean, come on, man, seriously. But he's just one of those guys, and we're not going to be at the One Motorcycle Show. So Liza and all the cool misfits are going to be there, and Emma's going to have her bike there. So you guys go and support that shit. It's awesome. Kevin says, stop shit talking the Tenere 700. It's God's gift to motorcycles. It's also my dream machine.
Who shit talked it?
I don't know. I don't know if we ever did. I don't think what I think we basically said was that the entire media is sucking that bike's dick right now.
And I think of maybe we mentioned Starbucks people or something, but that's not making fun of the bike. The bike's fully capable. Unfortunately, 90% of the people that buy it bought it to go to Starbucks to say I have a Tenere 700.
My opinion, and I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcast, was that everybody's talking like this 700, the Tenere 700, and they're talking about an Africa Twin 700. I'm like, but wait, the Versys 650 and the SV 650 have been around forever. You're not creating a mini adventure bike segment. It's already existed.
The Wii-Strom is like sitting there watching all this going, that's adorable.
Yeah, but the thing is that the Tenere 700 is actually a different bike. It actually has suspension. Yep. The way they did it, like if you read all the articles and stuff, it's actually meant to go off-road. So when you jump, the way the swing arm and the sprocket line up, it actually pushes you forward when you land so you don't get weird rebound and stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. And it's definitely, of all the 600s, 650s, and that genre of stuff, it definitely is the most off-road capable, except for that and the KTM 790. Those guys, if you're really a dude that lives in somewhere where there's mountains and fucking dirt, like you can go in your backyard and leave for 5 days in the dirt, it's probably the bike for you.
Right.
The Versys and all the other ones like that, they're more for where we live. You're mostly on road. You might hit a few fire roads or something like that. So I mean, it's a different bike, and it's lighter than the big bikes were. And I think it did what KTM did, but for like $8,000 less. So it is a pretty monumental bike. But for us, not really, because what are we going to do? Ride it to start? Like, we have nowhere to go with that fucking bike, So anyways, but yeah, it is a monumental bike for what it is.
So the Tenere 700, how is that different? Isn't there an FZ07?
Yeah. But
so it's the same motor, isn't it? Like it's kind of
they tuned it differently, geared it differently, and then also
tuned for the mid range.
but like I'm saying though, they moved the whole fucking the sprockets and everything differently, so the suspension works.
So it's not just an FZ07
with suspension.
With some boxes on it.
They took 4 years to bring this bike out. They had it and they reworked it and they did stuff and then they sold it and they brought it in under $10,000, which is pretty impressive for what it is.
Oh yeah,
9999 or whatever.
Kevin, it sounds like an awesome bike.
Well, Kevin's the guy that got the Trail 125, so he stuck it out and he owns a Trail 125 right now. So fucking, that's cool. One of our listeners, Kurt, from Rowley, Massachusetts, he said he's listening to an older episode
I'm sorry.
We asked what the difference was between rope and line. And he said, in the maritime world, rope is metal fibers. Line is everything else, such as nylon, dacron, hemp, etc.
Wow.
So rope is metal fibers.
Interesting.
Line is not.
That had to be a Hofford thing because I know Hofford.
It was. Well, I
Yeah.
said I wasn't sure. We were talking nautical terms, whether
Yes,
I was talking rope or line. But now I understand rope is wire. So wire rope makes sense. All right. He said there's been a lot of talk of electrical bikes and the modular batteries, which makes sense to me. It's battery capacity that keeps me from owning an electric bike as I enjoy long rides and touring and walks on the beach. I have thought a battery trailer might be the key to those long trips. Maybe a battery trailer with a small generator. Just something to consider. There was an electric car company in the 70s that had replaceable batteries, and they were also promoting battery charging stations or changing stations. Of course, the batteries had to be on a large pallet that rolled into the back of the car. I wish I could remember the name of the car. Yeah, that was that. And I grew up during that time frame, and it's been something that's been trotted out. And I think that if we get go-go-ros in this country, we know in Taiwan they're already having quick change battery stuff. Yay, it's great. There we go. Let's see. And next one, Bailey. Yo, Phil, saw your post. You're welcome out anytime. You know we can make Baja happen. That's
Fuck
right.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. We want to go to Baja.
Yeah.
Damn it. We want to go to Baja. Motherfucker. We're ready for Baja. Damn it. So we're so ready for fucking Baja. Yeah, we need to get back down there. It's something that needs to happen.
I want to hang out with the night guy.
Sergio?
Man, he's a fucking party.
Yeah.
Brown liquor podcasts are the best.
Oh,
Grumpy Sewer Guy needs a windshield on the Cub. It'll zip along at 62 to 64 miles per hour with a mid-sized GV windshield. Looks stupid, works good. You just described the Grumpy Sewer Guy.
Yeah.
So true. I couldn't agree more.
I put a windscreen on my TNT 135 and I got 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the phone numbers from 3 old men.
Yeah.
But
no, that came when I
looks ugly, works great.
when I put the gel pad on the seat that covers both of the back rear seats. That's when the old men start. Hey, you can probably ride that.
Does that come with Werther's Originals? That's it. That's all the news that's fit to print. Anybody got anything else? Because we're coming. Just remember, guys, May 23rd. I'm going to check it again just to be sure. It's called the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride.
Ooh.
And
shit.
Yeah, that's right. The Distinguished, which I just typed in the Extinguished Gentleman's Ride.
I do have an announcement.
Yes.
So in 2 weeks' time, I believe. Hold on. Stand by.
Wait for it. No, we're both doing things that require waiting.
April 22nd. Yeah, 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
I turned 50, so if anybody wants to send any brown liquor in to the podcast in 2 weeks, we will take that.
So when is that?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Holy shit.
Which I don't.
60 years old. Jeez.
Oh my God. Damn. That's great.
So hold on.
60.
Oh shit, that's a Sunday, so it won't be that.
I have some 50-year-old bourbon I'm going to bring in.
Nice.
No, I have some bourbon that's been filtered through a 50-year-old.
The podcast on the 6th. The 6th, I guess.
So our the DGR is May 23rd. So May 23rd is the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, the Disgruntled Gentleman's Ride. Please sign up for your local DGR. We'll be doing one in Cleveland. We may alter the route a little bit. We'll see what the weather does.
Oh, and also for the locals.
For the locals.
Is Porco?
Porco is coming back.
Porco's coming back. And you guys, we're going to do our part. As soon as Stefan goes, yeah, I think we're ready to have people here. We're going to do a fucking podcast from Porco.
Oh, yeah.
Because we need a fucking podcast from Porco in the worst way in the goddamn world.
Oh, yeah.
I want Porco to be my first bar.
Sounds like an Uber night.
I want Porco to break my newly restored bar cherry. Like, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm absolutely ready. Before we sign off, I do want to make sure that the world knows that the Cleveland Moto podcast is going to change just a little bit. There's going to be a couple of changes. Hopefully,
sorry, John.
Hopefully they won't bother you too badly.
I knew it was about time.
So there's going to be... So next week on the John McElfresh podcast. So what I did want to bring to people's attention is that we may be entertaining a sponsor.
Yeah.
We may be selling out just a tiny bit. Now, people who listened to this podcast 10 years ago, remember that we have had sponsors. You're an audio guy.
I know. That was supposed to be like a sound effect.
It sounds really cool, actually.
Again, you're an audio guy.
Phil has no fucking patience for Foley fucking.
So I can.
Again, I'm going to tell you right now. The sound of Daniel pouring liquor into a glass sounds amazing.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. yeah.
But if you get a little bored over here, it's like, that kind of shit, whatever. Like, the slide whistle.
Wait. So next week I can bring my.
Your hat. Seriously, you're a fucking sound guy. You spend an hour putting all this shit together, right?
An hour? I wish it was that.
How long did you spend making this sound amazing?
Yeah, right. A little bit.
Exactly, right, yeah.
Wait. So if Sleepy brought that, I can bring my theremin next week?
Exactly.
Fucking A.
Oh, God, I hate that shit. I hate it so bad. I hate sound effects in general. It's like watching a TV show with a canned audience.
The fucking laugh track?
Yeah, a fucking laugh track.
Oh, I'm adding that. I am adding that to every fucking podcast from now on.
So anybody who likes our podcast has the opportunity to ruin it. Get in touch with Manscaped. Manscaped.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. I'm not kidding you. Now here's what I'm going to tell you guys a little something. I'm going to read this. Hey, Phil. This is from Anne-Marie Allen at Manscaped, which I know that's got to be made up. I know that the guy who's running this is probably like a 61-year-old guy in his basement or whatever.
Do we have to show him Bush to get this?
Hold on.
thing? Okay.
This is Anne-Marie Allen sending us.
Is that a male or
Phil.
a female?
Hey, Phil, we came across the ClevelandMoto Motorcycle Podcast and love your content. We are reaching out on behalf of the audio marketing team at Manscaped, www.manscaped.com. We are interested in advertising on your podcast. Please send us over the following: link to your podcast and your socials, audience demographics, gender and location, average number of downloads per episode, and pictures of your crotch.
You said link to the podcast and your socials?
And socials. It's
social media.
Facebook.
I'm like, you're not getting my social security number.
This is from Manscaped in
They want to
Nigeria.
know. They want to know, John. They would actually like to know that if they send you a unit and you can trim the bush, will you gain inches or not? That's what they're looking
Again, the house always looks bigger
right
with well-groomed shrubbery.
That's exactly it.
So we all know that. And I mean, that's like, I'm going to tell you, podcast listeners.
Does it have a liposuction mode?
That's exactly it. You want to make your dick look huge, lose 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. But what I will tell you
That's
is
cool.
I've learned a long time ago, the best way to make your dick look huge, good credit score. Great credit score. Fantastic credit score. That's all she'll talk about forever because a big dick can't get you a car. That's it. So, but again, Manscaped.
Everybody likes a sugar daddy till daddy wants his sugar.
That's exactly So let's make Anne-Marie Allen regret her decision to send us that email.
Yes.
Podcast listeners, make sure you drop a line to www.manscaped.com and tell them what a horrible idea it would be to have the Cleveland Moto podcast.
I think it would be amazing
it's a great
if they all
idea.
support us.
Fucking
and
A.
then we get the sponsorship, and then we make a whole
you
thing
get
about
freebies
live
now.
manscaping on the podcast.
Oh, man. Dude, look. The guy from...
Instead of a bike build-off, we could have a junk cleanup.
Oh, man. Look, I had another guy that was talking about sponsorship, asked us if we were like, they were like, well, I don't know, is your podcast LGBTQ friendly?
Yeah.
And I was like, we say Camaro. like, we're doing our part. We're keeping it clean. We're trying to be straight. But honestly, there is nothing more LGBTQ friendly than a bunch of guys hanging around, literally being just around a bunch of other guys.
Right. Or
if we were being, sexual predators and shit, we'd be doing this around women. But we're not. We're keeping women safe by being here away from them.
And I think through all the years, you've had some of the most amazing, gnarly girls on, and lesbians on, and gay dudes on.
Some of those lesbians were girls.
Right.
I know. That's fucking amazing. I know, man. But anyway, so that's Manscaped.
What has two thumbs and likes to eat pussy? This guy.
Let's go back into the obvious machine for that. But it is when we have somebody who's... Look, we had Metal Rescue
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? We had Metal Rescue as a sponsor. They stuck it out much, much longer than Lear Chemical did with ACF 50. It turns out the vice president of Lear Chemicals was like, that'd be a great idea. We'd love to be on your podcast. You talk about motorcycles and wrenching shit and keeping stuff from breaking.
And I love ACF 50.
And we didn't get to that tech tip. But anyway, we did, in fact, use ACF 50. We promoted the shit out of their product. And then the people who run the place listen to the show. And then we didn't have a sponsor anymore.
Right.
And the Metal Rescue guys saw us at like AMA Vintage Days or something, and they were like, oh, wait, that's you guys. And we're like, yeah. And they're like, we have to sponsor you. And we, yes, you do have to sponsor us. And then we realized that we didn't get that right. We got T-shirts and beer cozies and product to give out to listeners. We never got a nickel, not like one penny.
That doesn't work.
And it turns out that when you don't ask for money, they don't take you seriously at all.
Right.
So I don't know. We've never taken any money.
So are you going to send her the information?
Well, I've already sent her everything except for the.
Well, I mean, you have to let her know.
Of our dicks.
You have to let her know that we are very selective, and we've turned down $1,500 an episode just from other random companies. So,
well, again, the opportunities have been long and distinguished.
I mean, there's so many every week. I have to delete. I don't even send you most of them that come in through the one.
That's
thing.
exactly it. And
I call like 90% of them because they're just like $1,000, $1,200. Like, who's gonna?
And who's ever gonna believe anything? Like, what is the Squarespace thing, and why do I want to get involved?
Yeah,
I don't want to get involved with that.
Well, but you have to tell her that there's like 9 people here. I mean, we're not going to share a fucking bush shaving thing between 9 people.
Oh my god! If they send out a trimmer,
that's what. No, I watch like YouTube channels. Yeah, I know. They do send out the demo boxes, but I mean,
you're familiar with the product?
I know what it is. Yeah, I don't have it.
I want the one that does the back. So then my wife will never have to talk to me.
That one trimmer can do all the hair on all of our bodies, including your beard and mustache.
No, it's going to happen the same thing with the bike build-off. Hoffer's not going to finish because he's fucking hairy as shit. He's going to break the trimmer, and that's going to be the end of it.
That might be the greatest testimonial ever for Manscaped.
Fuck yeah.
Would be legitimately like bring in the Lebanese guy.
And I'll film it, and you'll hear it like and just hanging there. All the blades are bent around.
The Manscaped Cleveland Moto edition.
This is our new 48 volt edition. Bring it on, dude.
Is that Ryobi or Makita?
Yeah, so
it goes both ways.
So 9 people.
Does green or
podcast.
But not like, okay, look. I didn't ask for this. This showed up on its own.
That's
this
interesting.
Person did their homework and figured out that we represented the kind of thing that they're going after. So Anne-Marie, more power to you.
If you're listening.
Well, it's Anne-Marie Allen, and I think maybe it's Allen Anne-Marie, because I feel like I might be getting catfished just a little here. Because there's the whole thing about, like, it's Manscaped stuff. True. I think Liza's behind this, honestly. I wouldn't put it past her.
Maybe she send us our way.
No, I'm going to click on this thing and a big rubber dick's going to come out. I know it.
Do dildos come with fake hair that you have to trim?
Yeah, that's right. You got to prep them. Yeah, you got to prep them. That's it. Oh, man. So that's all I got, dude. Anybody got anything else?
No.
Fuck it, man. Let's ride fast and take chances.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-